Welcome to the Raw Feed. I'm Gary Franchi, and if you're just joining us, you picked the perfect day to witness history unfold. We're streaming live right now to millions worldwide on YouTube and simultaneously on Rumble and X. Make sure you're following us on all platforms because Big Tech doesn't want you to see what we're about to show you. Now, what is it that sets us apart from every other show out there? Well, we bring you into the conversation. Your comments drive our coverage. Your reactions shape our discussion. Your insights become part of history. Now, this isn't traditional media where anchors lecture viewers and the people just sit silent on the other side. This is interactive journalism where your voice carries weight. So light up that chat, drop your location, share your thoughts, and become an active participant in exposing the truth that terrifies the establishment. And if you want to support what we're doing here, hit those donation links in the description. Every dollar helps us stay on the air, bringing you the unfiltered truth. You can also donate at Give, Send, Go or through PayPal. All the links are right there below. And speaking of staying connected, text the stream to your friends right now. Bypass the algorithm completely. And for our ex-viewers, repost the show to your followers. Let's make sure everyone sees what's really happening in America today. Yes, we will be reading your super chats and your Rumble rants throughout the show. They'll be featured right on screen for everyone in the world to see. So send them in right now, even before we dive into these explosive stories, because your voice matters here and we want to hear it. Also, make sure you check out our merch shop at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. We've got alligator Alcatraz designs commemorating Florida's stand against criminal illegals, President Otto pen shirts, and our Badass American Badass series, where you support proudly and trigger a liberal while you're at it. You can also become a YouTube channel member. Each level comes with its own perks. You get special acknowledgement in the chat, exclusive access to the Next News team, behind-the-scenes content, and access to our members-only 24/7 Discord chat. It's like having a backstage pass to the truth movement. Now, let me take you back to another August 22nd that changed everything. It was on this day in 1972 that John Dean warned Richard Nixon that there was a cancer on the presidency, referring to the Watergate cover-up that would ultimately bring down a president. Fast forward 53 years to today. We're watching another cancer being cut out, except this time it's not the president doing the covering up. It's the deep state operatives who tried to destroy him that are now facing justice. And just like Watergate exposed corruption at the highest levels, today we're witnessing raids, revelations, and retribution that make Nixon's scandal look like jaywalking. The same people who weaponized our justice system are now feeling its full force. The hunters have become the hunted. Now, today's show, packed with bombshells that will make your head spin. John Bolton's house raided by the FBI. The same Bolton who cheered when they raided Trump. Ghislaine Maxwell's explosive interview just released by the DOJ. And now she's saying that Epstein didn't Epstein himself. The National Guard preparing to surge into Chicago after cleaning up Washington, D.C. Brennan reportedly fleeing to Austria as the Russiagate documents expose the coup. And Newsom is rigging California while blocking fire victims from rebuilding. The establishment thought they could destroy Trump, silence his supporters, and memory hole their crimes. They thought wrong. Today, we're watching their house of cards collapse in real time, and you have a front row seat to history. So buckle up. Share the stream, and let's expose what they don't want you to know, because the Raw Feed starts right now. And Brian, a quick note, if you could just adjust the speed, I would greatly appreciate it. All right, let's see who's here in the house tonight. Sophia and Yarmouth and Kim. Everyone here. Cambodia is reporting for duty. We got, who else is in the house here? We've got, wow, look at everybody. It's like Chi and Tor and Oji, Robert, Cindy, Mrs. Pothead Kenny, Lemon Trees on Mercury. We've got Anam Cha. We've got a name I cannot even try to pronounce. We got Gen X, Patriots Unite, Mr. Green Lantern 69 Man. Hello from Illinois. What's up, Illinois in the house? Who else is here? SLM in Boston, Jeremy Olson. We've got Nana Chu. Alan Frost in Bushkill, PA. We got Kim Weig in the house. We got Samnang Dane in the house. Robert M. Who else? We got Sparky. Sparky's Run. What's up, Sparky? We got Davy Moon in the house. Who else is here? Elaine Miller. Sweet Jenna Rainbows. We got Kiwi Seeking the Truth from New Zealand. Dave Harvey in the house. Ken. And Craig dropping our first super chat of the evening. It's Friday. And Gary needs some drinking money for the weekend, so you guys know what to do. Nebraska reporting for duty. God bless the Patriots. We got Conga Joel in the house in Canada. Scooby Dragon in Nebraska. Than Fei Run. Cambodia need peace. Todd Siegel. That's right. In case you didn't know it, Cambodia needs peace. We also have Robert Lockhart. We got Fred Acevedo in the house. We got Jerry Higgins, corrupt Illinois, in the house. We got Vathank Dung. Let's go, Next News Network, number one news network in town. That's right. In the world, actually. We got Debbie and Clay. The gang is all here. So, you guys want to get into this? I think we should.
Was everybody ought to just call?
We got a lot to break down here, but first we're going to get our trivia question of the evening. It's Friday. You know what that means. So first trivia question, what year did John Bolton admit on TV that he helped plan coups in other countries? Was it A, 1984, which is, of course, Big Brother's favorite? Was it 2022, in an oops moment? Was it 2001, a space odyssey fail? Or D, never, his lips were sealed? Well, we're going to find out after the segment. You can weigh in the chat or in the comments or in the poll. So let's get right into it. The tables have turned in the most poetic way possible. The man who smugly celebrated when FBI agents stormed Mar-a-Lago just got a taste of his own medicine. Federal agents descended on a Washington home this morning, and the target wasn't some January 6th grandmother. It was one of the deepest swamp creatures of them all, a warmonger who openly bragged about overthrowing governments, a man who demanded others face justice while believing he was untouchable. Well, karma just showed up at his doorstep with a warrant. The scene outside his house, pure chaos. And what they're looking for will blow your mind. So keep on watching. Now, federal agents are hauling boxes out of John Bolton's house as I speak. And just like our bodies need the right foundation to stay strong, our republic needs justice to survive. And speaking of foundations, as we age, our body's collagen production declines, leading to visible signs of wrinkles and sagging skin. By our 40s, collagen levels drop significantly, kind of like Bolton's credibility. That's why I've relied on Ageless Multi-Collagen for years. It includes 5 key collagen types from 4 premium sources, blended into hydrolyzed peptides for faster absorption. Every order donates a meal to NoKidHungry.org, and you can get 51% off at healthwithgary.com, plus shipping, free shipping, 60-day guarantee, and exclusive bonuses. Now back to Bolton's Day of Reckoning. So Sarah Gonzalez over at Blaze TV Oh, yeah. She just posted this, and it is glorious.
On X, no. Oh my God, I am literally shaking right now. I just read the news that John Bolton's home was just raided by the FBI. We knew this was going to happen. At the exact same time it was being raided, Kash Patel posted on X, no one is above the law. And I just want to make one thing really clear. I voted for this.
Hell yeah.
Oh my God, I'm literally shaking right now.
I voted for this too. Let's check in. There's so much going on. Oh, did you hear about this one? Yeah. John Bolton tried to elude the FBI by blending into a herd of walruses. Of course, the Babylon Bee, with their beautiful satirical headlines, always make it. Can you find where in the world is John Bolton? Somewhere hiding among those walruses. I think I see him. Oh, there he is. We gotcha. Gotcha, bitch. And this, after the 7-hour FBI raid, John Bolton had just finally returned home looking very angry. If you recall, he supported the raid on Mar-a-Lago. So he should support this too, right?
About 30 minutes. All right, we're going to get back to that in just a second, but here's live pictures of what we believe is John Bolton returning home. We had a picture of this SUV leaving his office a short time ago, and now it looks like it's made its way with about a 30-minute trip to his home, and there's the ambassador coming up, briefcase in hand, waving to the assembled media, and going inside the front door of the home. We will see, it doesn't look like it at this point, if he decides to come out and talk. I mean, John Bolton does talk to the media an awful lot, but he has chosen to remain silent at this point. Nicole Parker is with us, and Nicole,
probably a good idea to remain silent. Yeah, he ran into his house, probably trying to figure out they found his secret stash of documents.
Looks as though this investigation, at least the search of Bolton's home and his office, has wrapped up. What do you expect might be in the boxes that came out at the hands of FBI agents, and where does this go next? All right, we're going to get back to
where does this go next? Now, if you recall, Trump ally Roger Stone, who was raided himself during the Mueller investigation, relished in Bolton's suffering as he sent him a personal message on X. He wrote, "Good morning, John Bolton. How does it feel to have your home raided at 6 o'clock in the morning?" Now, I'm curious if any news agencies were tipped off, like CNN was tipped off when they raided Roger Stone's house. He did nothing wrong, if you recall. And check this out. Here's Scott Jennings, one of our favorite CNN commentators, the only one who ever actually makes any sense, uses John Bolton's own words to hang him after the FBI raid on his home. Check this out.
Scott, I mean, what do you see here?
Well, I'm reminded of something that I heard someone say after the Mar-a-Lago raid, and the statement was everybody ought to just calm down, whether you're pro-Trump or anti-Trump, and let the process work its way through. That was said by John Bolton himself after the Mar-a-Lago raid on Trump. Look, I try not to engage too much in conjecture on these things. All we really know is what Caitlin just told us, that this is related to an investigation regarding information he put in his book. We know that they're searching for things, and that's it. That's what we know. And so Ambassador Bolton's previous views on this were that processes should be allowed to work their way through. I assume this one will work its way through. And if he has not disclosed any classified information, that will be fine and good, and we'll talk about that. And if he has, I'm sure we'll talk about it as well.
Scott, I mean,
of course, President Trump weighing in on the matter. We're going to get to that. But of course, the memes are flying fast. John Bolton, the warmonger, and Roger Stone following up with this post. The man on the left had his home raided at 6 a.m. because he did something wrong. The man on the right had his home raided at 6 a.m. because he didn't. Karma is a bitch. Oh, remember this? John Bolton said, "I wish that Kash Patel and Tulsi Gabbard would just go away." And then a few moments later,
I think a lot of Republicans right now just wish Kash Patel, Tulsi Gabbard, and a number of other Trump nominees would just go away.
A few moments later.
John Bolton, Ambassador Bolton's security clearances were stripped earlier this year by President Trump. Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national intelligence, took that security clearance away. They had concerns. The administration had concerns about Ambassador Bolton still being able to access some of these documents and have some of those security clearances. It's also notable that John Bolton had a security detail as well. Because of the threats from Iran on his life, that security detail, that government federal paid security detail, was also taken away by President Trump.
I think a lot of
President Trump stripping Bolton of his security detail. Let's find that clip. Yeah, here, check this out. Here's another meme. When the FBI raids Mar-a-Lago, John Bolton smiling. When the FBI raids your house, John Bolton not too pleased. Here is a shot of John Bolton's wife looking like she just come face to face with a ghost this morning. Yep, there are always victims when these raids happen. We don't know exactly what she had to endure, but I can promise you that Roger Stone's wife was equally as traumatized. Ben Garrison dropping some fire cartoons. The shift is about to hit the fan. Who will be next after John Bolton? Place your bets. Is it going to be Obama? Is it going to be Comey? Is it going to be Hillary or Schiff? Many others to follow. And they could certainly go ahead and raid Adam Schiff's house or his office. And then, hey, he'll just have to defend himself, and he'll waive that big, beautiful pardon that Otto Penn signed. And then we can challenge that in court. CIA Director John Ratcliffe gave Kash Patel access to the intel that became the basis for the warrant to raid John Bolton's house. We're going to get to those remarks, but I do want to... this is his neighbor. We're going to get to that. I want to find the clip. Okay, here is... let's go to Trump in the Oval Office reacting to the raid.
Saying that it's President, I have a question about the search of Ambassador Bolton's home. The Vice President recently just did an interview saying that it's about classified documents, but that there's also broad concern about him. What are the concerns?
Well, I haven't spoken to Pam and the group yet, but I will be. I saw that just like everybody else. I try and stay out of that stuff. I'm allowed to be, and I'm chief law enforcement officer, believe it or not. You know, I don't like to go around saying that, but I am. That's the position. But I purposely don't want to really get involved in it. I'm not a fan of John Bolton. I thought he was a sleazebag, actually. And he suffers major Trump derangement syndrome, but so do a lot of people, and they're not being affected by anything we do. I don't know anything about it. I just saw that. I'll find out about it. But if you believe the news, which I do, I guess his house was raided today, but my house was raided also. Called Mar-a-Lago. They went through everything they could, including my young son's room and my wife's area. They went through her drawers, as the expression goes. They went through everything you can imagine. And when she came back, she said, she's very neat, you know, she's meticulous. And she looked and she said, whoa, this wasn't the way that she had it. So, you know, so I know the feeling. It's not a good feeling.
Not a good feeling. President Trump. Somehow I do find it kind of hard to believe that he didn't know this was coming. But you see the hat he's wearing, it says President Trump was right about everything. We got some more. I believe we have another clip of the president earlier today. Yeah, here he is. This is him. And really a surprising visit to the People's House, which is a museum dedicated to the White House. I think it's a private museum. I'm not sure if it's affiliated directly with the White House. I mean, obviously it's like a block away, but I've never really looked into it. It's a really cool exhibit if you ever do get a chance to go down to Washington, D.C., which is now safe. Remember, President Trump has made Washington, D.C. a great place to take your family now. Well, anyway, here he is talking about John Bolton at the People's House.
He's quiet. No, I don't know about it. I saw it on television this morning. I'm not a fan of John Bolton. He's a real sort of a lowlife. When I hired him, he served a good purpose because, as you know, he was one of the people that forced Bush to do the ridiculous bombings in the Middle East. Bolton, he wants to always kill people, and he's very bad at what he does. But he worked out great for me because every time he doesn't talk, he's like a very quiet person. except on television. If he could say something bad about Trump, he'll always do that. But he really doesn't talk. He's quiet. And I'd walk into a room with him with a foreign country, and the foreign country would give me everything because they said, oh no, they're going to get blown up because John Bolton's there. He's not a smart guy, but he could be a very unpatriotic guy. I mean, we're going to find out. I know nothing about it. I just saw it this morning. They did a raid.
Do you expect the DOJ to brief you on this?
Yeah, they'll brief me probably today sometime.
And the foreign minister.
I tell Pam and I tell the group. I don't want to know, but just you have to do what you have to do. I don't want to know about it. It's not necessary. I could know about it. I could be the one starting it. I'm actually the chief law enforcement officer, but I feel that it's better this way. No, I don't know about it.
I guess the fact that he did not know about it kind of removes him from the situation. But as you heard him say, he gives Pam and Cash the ability to just take action, and then he'll find out in the briefing later. So if there was something that went down, he will clearly be made abreast of it. And there's a reason for them to go after him. We're going to find out what went down. But here is Johnny Maga writing, LMAO, John Bolton's deranged neighbor put on a Trump is a national disgrace t-shirt to come out and cry to the media about how Trump is using the FBI and DOJ to go after his enemies. He doesn't even realize that he's describing Joe Biden.
All of this retribution and vengeance and using the DOJ and the FBI and the power of government to go after anybody who disagrees with him is frightening. And it's only going to get worse if we don't do something to make it stop. And it scares the crap out of me.
Yeah, did it scare the crap out of you when Joe Biden was weaponizing the intelligence agencies against Donald Trump? Okay, let's check this out. Here's Jack Posobiec. Exclusive CIA Director John Ratcliffe gave Kash Patel access to the intel that became the basis for the warrant to raid John Bolton's house. Let's listen.
Genuinely attacked. I actually have an exclusive report on all of this that I haven't even posted on Twitter yet. Came in just as I was coming in to get ready for the hit here. So this is what I'm getting. This is going to be a War Room exclusive here from Human Events. That CIA Director John Ratcliffe provided Kash Patel access to U.S. intelligence that served as the basis for the warrant to raid Bolton's house. So this is basically what we were thinking about, and this is an individual familiar is telling me this. They're saying Bolton disingenuously attacked Trump for mishandling classified information. It will go down as one of the most audacious and ironic acts of malice in political history. Bolton should have been throwing stones in his now raided glass house. And this was something, I think, Steve, you and I talked about it when John Bolton's book came out, that he was known for these yellow legal pads, that he would take notes during every single meeting that was going on when he was the national security advisor. And there were a lot of questions as to what exactly was the handling of those notes. Did those yellow legal pads make it home to him? And because there was a lot of information that was in there that also ended up in his book, which was publicized, and by the way, part of which was leaked to the New York Times, even went back to my own reporting on this, part of which was leaked to the New York Times before it even came out in publication. So there's a lot of questions about who leaked it in the first place. Was it leaked during that period where they're supposed to be scrubbing it for classified? And these yellow legal pads, what information did he take? Because classified information, here's a great example. So even if you don't have documents, if the information that you have written down on your documents is classified and you take your document home, that's still taking classified information out of a classified area. That's still taking it out of the SCIF. So if you're in a position like the Oval, if you're in the Situation Room, etc., you can't just take that home. And in fact, the information in your mind is still also classified. That's why you have a lifetime NDA. That's just the nature of classified information. So I know there's a lot of people who focus on documents. I'm sure there's going to be documents that we're talking about here, but this is very clear. It's information that is classified, not a piece of paper.
Give me that from the CIA Director Ratcliffe again. Can you do that one more time? It's pretty amazing.
John Ratcliffe provided FBI Director Kash Patel access to U.S. intelligence that served as the basis for the warrant to raid Bolton's house. So these are documents, some kind of information that the CIA held that they were probably using that as a check to go into this warrant to say, these are the things you're looking for, that they provided. This is going towards the probable cause for the raid that took place this morning. I believe it's still ongoing.
Wow. Absolutely amazing. It's sad but beautiful at the same time. You know, we need to get these people, all of them, every single one of them. We need to rout out the deep state. Here is back in 2022. Remember this? John Bolton slipped and admitted that he's helped plan coup d'etat before.
Yeah. Now, I don't know that I agree with you. To be fair, with all due respect, one doesn't have to be brilliant to attempt a coup.
I disagree with that. As somebody who has helped plan coup d'etat, not here, but other places, it takes a lot of work, and that's not what he did. It was just stumbling around from one idea to another. Ultimately, he did unleash the rioters at the Capitol. As to that, there's no doubt.
I don't know.
Wow. The fact that he's just going on the record there stating, yep, just casually, I planned coup d'etat. I mean, why the hell are we planning coup d'etat anywhere in the world? It's disgusting. Let's take a look here. Thomas Hearn writes, this isn't Trump or Kash Patel's anger or vitriol coming home to roost. Okay, let's listen. David Urban pushing back on claims that Bolton investigation might be political.
Coming to roost. I mean, you've heard from Andrew and Caitlin that there has to be some showing of probable cause to a federal judge. This just isn't Donald Trump's or Kash Patel's anger or vitriol coming to roost here. There are line FBI agents, career prosecutors, career people in the Department of Justice who assembled a case file that had to go to a federal judge, presumably who doesn't take any of these things lightly, and show a probable cause, more likely than not, that there was evidence of a crime of some sort contained in John Bolton's house. So while this, John Berman said earlier, this has a really bad look to it, this has probably been going on now for quite some time. This isn't pulled together in a few hours. This investigation has most likely been going on for quite some time to get to this point. The timing is optically, it looks political because of, you said, John Berman alluded to it, that, Bolton was on criticizing the president heavily. He's been a big detractor of Donald Trump's, has said a lot of not nice things about Donald Trump, but that does not still underlie the fact that there may be some there, and that a federal judge someplace found that there's more likely than not something here in this house that contains evidence of a crime.
Evidence of a crime. President Trump, of course, saying he had no knowledge of it. Let's check in with the news as it broke this morning, and we'll check in with CNN to see how they spun this.
FBI. Hang on, we got some breaking news that I actually think both of you are going to want to hear. So let me get to Caitlin Polantz, who is in Washington with information about an FBI raid at the home of former Ambassador John Bolton, who was just with us yesterday.
Yes. He was on the show yesterday.
Okay, so
he was just on CNN yesterday. Next morning, he gets raided. CNN has to break the news. Oh, you can't make this up. He's probably on CNN just trashing Trump all day.
Caitlin, tell us what's going on here.
Well, John, we have confirmed here at CNN that the FBI has conducted a court.
I'd love to see the clip. I'm sure we probably played it already yesterday. I'm guessing he was probably talking about the Russia and the Ukraine situation. If I recall, I think we did play a clip. It'd be so funny to juxtapose that against this. But anyway.
Authorized search of John Bolton's home. He was a top official for Donald Trump previously, someone who has been in many Republican administrations related to national security issues. This search, now court authorized, is part of a national security investigation, and there have been FBI personnel that are seen near Bolton's home. CNN was able to reach him, and he said he was unaware of this FBI activity. He was looking into it further, so we don't have much more right now on what exactly this is. But may I remind you that there was quite an intense political and legal standoff between Donald Trump and John Bolton after he left the White House in the first Trump administration. There was a criminal inquiry around John Bolton's book, which was highly critical of Donald Trump and his handling of national security information at that time. That situation, there was a lawsuit where the Justice Department tried to prevent prevent John Bolton from publishing that book or having it made public. And on top of that, John, there was a grand jury investigation that led to no charges against John Bolton at that time. This big question marks of what it is. Is there any possibility this could be looking at similar things? John Bolton has not been in government since he left that first Trump administration, and instead has been out there as a very critical public voice of Donald Trump. Lots of questions of what's going on here, but that indeed is pictures of the FBI personnel seen near John Bolton's home this morning.
Hang on, we got some.
Okay, so I'm checking to see if there's any developments as of now. 2 minutes ago, this was posted. FBI official told Benny Johnson, John Bolton raid is about Bolton's serial theft and publication of classified information that has gone on for years. So that lines up with Jack Posobiec's statement that the documents or notepads that Bolton would have used during classified settings that found its way into the book. So this does line up with what we just found out. Okay, so I'm going to see if there's anything else just currently breaking. I'm not seeing anything yet here, but Todd, if you're able to track anything, maybe he's made a statement. I don't know. Would like to see if there is anything current. Most of the stuff looks like it's from earlier today. I can't seem to find anything yet. But we'll continue to see what else is in our basket of goodies that is related to this entire raid that really shocked me this morning. I was expecting maybe a raid on Bill Barr after the Project Veritas whistleblower came forward and then revealed that Bill Barr was involved in the Fani Willis RICO setup of President Trump, according to that whistleblower. Let's take a look at this here. John Bolton told the media that nominating Kash Patel and Gabbard to their position was dangerous. He specifically claimed that Tulsi Gabbard must be kept as far away from classified documents as possible, and now we know why. It was dangerous to him, not the United States. News pundits are claiming he may be facing 10 years in prison after this latest raid. In 2024, Bolton claimed that Kash Patel was akin to Stalin's secret police chiefs. He said Trump has nominated Patel to be his Lavrenti Beria. Fortunately, the FBI is not the NKVD. The Senate should reject his nomination. Finally, good things happening for all to see. This is from the Patriot Control. Let's listen to this.
I thought there were a trio of Trump nominations here that were really in a category by themselves, not just incompetent, but dangerous to the United States. One was Matt Gaetz. He's gone. The remaining two are Tulsi Gabbard and Kash Patel for the FBI. Not only are they not qualified, they have done things through the course of their career that show they don't have the judgment or the character, frankly, to hold such sensitive positions. I think this is a real danger for the United States in both cases. I think in Tulsi Gabbard's case, she said things and done things that show a lack of judgment that should keep her as far away from classified information as possible.
I beg to differ, sir. I beg to differ because I'm glad she got a hold of those classified documents. I'm glad that she declassified them for all of us to see the origins of the Obamagate, Russiagate scandal. So we're going to continue to track this breaking, developing news. It is not over yet. Luke Rudkowski, OMG, the FBI just raided John Bolton's home. What's up, Luke? Carrie Bonet, good morning, everybody. Let's see what we got here.
Have any sense that there are, and some of the leaks that came from his office, do we have any sense that there are other figures that the FBI is looking at as part of this investigation?
Well, we're not clear what this investigation is specifically, but yes, you're right that Fox has reported independently, yes, that agents are looking at James Comey. They're looking at, when I say agents, I should say the Department of Justice, looking at James Comey, looking at James Clapper, looking at John Brennan. Clapper was the former director of national intelligence. John Brennan, former CIA director. So it's not clear if this is related to that, because John Bolton kind of hung in different circles than Comey and Clapper. He was on the inside during the first Trump administration as his national security advisor. So I'm not exactly sure if this is related to that. But it's notable this is related to classified documents. It looks like there was someone there in the front door. I'm not exactly sure who that is when the camera.
We were seeing FBI agents walk in, and then someone walked in. It looked like a female in civilian clothes, but it looked like she was holding papers, so maybe she works for the government.
Could be. Yeah, could be. Exactly.
Thank you so much.
No problem. When
Thanks,
we find
David.
out more, we'll let you know. You bet.
John Bolton was a contributor here for years. He was a vital member of the Bush administration. And when he walked in to help President Trump, there was a lot of optimism there would be a good match. They did some good things. He said, I was never proud of the president that when he walked away from the second Kim Jong-un meeting and refused to acquiesce, allowed to have a nuclear weapon, so he walked out. So, but since that time, he's been an extreme critic, even as late as last night.
And even as late as last night, he's been an extreme critic. Let's see here. Is this the same Scott Jennings clip? I think it might be. No, it is. It is the same clip here. So here is, let's take a look at this. This is this month, 3 years ago, Mar-a-Lago was raided. John Bolton was constantly in front of the cameras, pouring oil on the fire.
Often acquired the so-called source at any given moment. But I don't think he cared about the classification system. I don't think he appreciated the sensitivity of this information, and he didn't appreciate the sensitivity of how it was often acquired, the so-called sources and methods. So this had been briefed to him before I arrived. It was repeated frequently. I think it simply had no impact on him whatever.
There's a couple of different ways that people think about this, and people who are not friendly to the president who think about what's happened here. And one of them is, Donald Trump, master thief, criminal, running some kind of elaborate conspiracy to bring things out of the White House and keep them secret for potentially for political or financial gain. There are other people who his attitude is Trump is chaotic. He's careless. He's not that smart. He took these things almost by mistake, and now he's basically stamping his feet and saying they're mine. I don't want to give them up. Give me a sense of where you think the truth lies with respect to Trump's intelligence, carelessness, and the degree to which he might have brought motive to bear on taking these documents out of the White House and keeping them for this long at Mar-a-Lago.
Before we even get to that, did you hear what he just said? Trump taking classified documents and bringing them to Mar-a-Lago. First of all, we all know President Trump can declassify anything, and that's why he was found innocent in that case. But in this case, you have John Bolton, it appears, to have taken classified information, codified that into yellow legal pads, and brought that to his home, and then used that information and put it into his own book and published it for the world to see. Now, who's sloppy with classified information? Okay? Even if President Trump was wrong, and the documents that were found at Mar-a-Lago, they were locked away. They weren't published in a memoir or a book. But that's exactly what the allegations appear to be with respect to John Bolton. So let's listen to his response.
Well, it's very hard to speculate on motive other than that he liked cool things. He saw things so he wanted to take them, and he was pretty much able to take them, and not just on classified information matters, on all kinds of things that crossed his desk. Some days he liked to eat a lot of French fries. Some days he took classified documents. He wanted them. Why did he want them? Because he could get them.
Right.
Yeah, and apparently the classified information you took ends up in your book. MSNBC is not taking the raid on John Bolton's home very well. Of course not. MSNBC hates Donald Trump. That's why he calls him MSDNC. Let's hear the meltdown.
Days later, he thought that the president's summit in Alaska with Vladimir Putin was going to be a disaster. In fact, even before the summit occurred, he said that Trump had handed Putin a win. In fact, Trump went to social media to criticize Bolton for those comments. And now, a few days later, we have this. We don't know there's a link, but we certainly know this is a president who has promised retribution.
Yeah, this is chilling. It really is. Listen, John.
Now, this is Claire McCaskill. She was a former senator who lost her seat.
Bolton and I disagreed on many things back in the days when I was serving in public office. But I don't think very many people that know John Bolton would argue that his beliefs were intellectually sound. You could disagree with him, and that he gave a lot to this country in terms of time and his intellect and his work ethic. And clearly this is retribution. Clearly this is using the FBI in a way that not only tarnishes the FBI, but it tarnishes our country.
You know what tarnishes our country? When the United States is accused of facilitating coup d'etat in other nations, overthrowing governments. Oh, yeah, that's what tarnishes the reputation of the United States.
And this is what they do in countries where they don't have rule of law. This is what happens when despots take over, like Putin. And John Bolton has always been critical of how, he about lost it when Trump wanted to invite the Taliban to Camp David. It's chilling. Now, do I think they're ever going to have evidence to convict this man of anything in a court of law with a jury? No, they won't. But they can make him miserable.
Yeah, they certainly made Trump miserable, didn't they? MSNBC already making excuses. Here's another clip.
Litigate all of Trump's law enforcement apparatus appears.
This is Ken Delanian, MSNBC Justice and Intel correspondent on The Morning Joe.
To be responding to his desire to relitigate all of these issues where he thinks he was wrong.
You see that? Look at that. Look at that right there. Look at that picture. Look at that screen. What's right in front of John Bolton? A yellow legal pad. That's exactly what Jack Posobiec was describing that they may have been going into his house to look for. Holy cow. That's so funny to see that.
By the intelligence community and the Justice Department and the FBI. And it's going in what a lot of people...
Okay, and just to be clear, what you're seeing on the screen there in this MSNBC B-roll as Delaney is talking, this is from the first administration of Donald Trump when John Bolton was by his side. Sorry, I'm just providing some additional context. Maybe it's obvious.
People think of some very dangerous directions.
Yeah, Ken, very important points there. We appreciate that context. One more to you at the moment. Again, this is Ken Delaney on the phone near the home of John Bolton in suburban Washington, that home raided by FBI agents a short time ago. Ken, tell us the severity, if you will, if indeed what we're hearing from a source is found, if indeed classified records are discovered there. Talk to us about the severity of potential criminal charges. Just how serious is this? Would it depend what sort of material it is? Walk us through those investigative steps.
Yeah, it's a great question, Jonathan. And of course, it runs the gamut. And this is another ironic question because we explored this issue ad infinitum, right, when Donald Trump was charged with mishandling classified documents and legal experts said anybody else who did what he did would have already been in prison. So obviously, if you intentionally take classified documents from their secure spaces and you take them to your home or somewhere else, and you do that knowingly, that's a felony, and that carries serious prison time. And many, many people over the years have gone to prison for doing that. And the reasons often are not about that they wanted to turn it over to a foreign government, but people just for reasons that are almost inexplicable at times, take classified documents home. In fact, there was a man who worked at the NSA who hoarded classified documents for years in his house. And it was never really clear why he did that. And eventually the FBI conducted a search, very much like the one they're doing today, and they found all this stuff, and they charged him with serious crimes. But there are also many...
Oh, and what about Joe Biden? He had classified material, classified documents, next to his Corvette in the garage where Hunter Biden was hanging out smoking crack.
Examples where people inadvertently took classified information and took it to the wrong place, put it in their briefcase. And in those cases, often they are not charged. And a great example of that would be the Joe Biden case, where classified documents were found in his home. And as soon as that happened, they went to the FBI and turned them over and allowed the FBI to search the facilities for more classified documents. And at the end of the day, a special counsel looked at that and said there was no crime here. Now, there was some other, there were some other issues there, obviously, involving Joe Biden's mental state, and there was evidence in that case that Biden knew years ago that he had classified documents and didn't turn them in, and so that was more serious than the typical case. But there have been many cases. Trump's law enforcement.
Many cases. Checking to see if there's anything else here. Nope. But just a quick reminder: Roger Stone did nothing wrong. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So this matters because for too long, the architects of America's forever wars believed they were above the law. Bolton sat in TV studios calling for regime change in Iran, Venezuela, North Korea, while our sons and daughters died overseas. He leaked classified information when it suited him, wrote tell-all books for profit, and smugly watched as the FBI raided President Trump's home. He literally admitted on CNN that he's helped orchestrate coups in other countries, treating the overthrow of governments just like it was another Tuesday at the office. Now, the same system that he weaponized against patriots is knocking down his door. This is what accountability looks like. These are the visuals that we have been wanting to see. Now, do Hillary Clinton. All right? Do Comey. Do Clapper. Do them all. Oh, and maybe start with Adam Schiff. I'm not sure. Do we start with Adam Schiff or do we start with Hillary Clinton? That's a toss-up. That will be my question for you. Who should get the next knock on the door? Hillary Clinton or Adam Schiff? Drop your comments below. And while you're fired up, check out our merch shop. It's linked down below, and show the world where you stand. All right. You know what, Todd? That would be a great poll question for the channel. What's that? You're already doing it. Right on, dude. Yeah, make sure you find a nice, nasty picture of Hillary and a nasty picture of Schiff. And just put, who should, after Bolton's house was raided, who should be raided next? Hillary or Schiff? Yeah. Let's put that on the poll in the on the main channel page. I think people will really enjoy that. All right. Do we have any super chats? We got $16.99 in the jar already. So Craig was our first one out the gate as the show started. Thank you, Craig. And then we have the Crypto Patriot dropping a super sticker of a hippo character going really fast on his chair, propelling the chair across the room. Thank you, Crypto Patriot, for that $9.99. And then we got AJ Cruz just dropping $2 there. No comment necessary. Just wants to support the show. Thank you, AJ, for your support. That was about 9 minutes ago. Crypto Patriot was about 38 minutes ago, I think. Okay. Now, I'm seeing all your comments coming in. Patty says, I want simultaneous raids all over the place. Alan says, I think this will put the rest of them on notice. Cambodia wants peace. Yes, they do. Don't waste any time and go after both. Wouldn't that be great, having a split screen video, right? And then you see them both happening at the exact same time? That would be wonderful. All right, let's see. Let's go to our trivia answer. Don't go anywhere, folks. We're not done. The show's just getting started. It's Friday. Wait to see what we're coming up with next. You don't want to miss this. All right. The trivia answer. What year did John Bolton admit on TV he helped plan coups in other countries? It was in 2022, and you guys got that correct. All right. Brian, is there a way to get like another soundboard in here that we can just fire off all kinds of crazy sound effects? I know that EV Mux only provides for 4 slots, but is there like another? Okay, so into vMix with X keys. Okay, that would be perfect. Let's do that. We need to get some Schwarzenegger sound bites, you know. It's not a tumor, you know. What other sound bites should we use? You know, maybe like some Trump, like you're fired, or, you know, yeah, you're fired for sure. We should just come up with a whole list of different. Brian says, give him a list. That would be absolutely epic. But I think we need to get a proper stream deck so I can like have the icons of each person's face. You know, that would be sweet. You know, because we've got Jar Jar.
You said people gonna die?
And then we've got Greta.
How dare you?
And then we just got the sad trumpet guy. And of course, the applause, as you heard. All right, let's get to our trivia answer. Did I already say the trivia answer? I did, didn't I? Okay, my bad. No, I didn't say it, though. The oops moment, live Bolton. Bolton accidentally admitted his coup experience while attacking Trump on CNN with Jake Tapper. Okay. Now we're going into the latest developments in the Obamagate, Russiagate bombshells. But the trivia question is, what did Obama allegedly want back from Mar-a-Lago, according to Devin Nunes? Was it A, his Netflix password, B, his manufactured ICA report, C, his Nobel Peace Prize, or D, his birth certificate? Yeah, I bet you. I think I know the answer, but we still want answers about that birth certificate, don't we? All right, let's find out what's going on with the latest in the Obamagate Russia hoax. We got some stuff with General Flynn making noise. I think we do have a clip here of Devin Nunes, Kash Patel. This is stacked, guys, so buckle up. They thought they buried it forever. They thought their classified lies would never see daylight. They thought wrong. Explosive declassified documents are now ripping open the biggest political scandal in American history, and the names being exposed will shock you to your core. A former president who orchestrated a coup, a CIA director who just fled the country, an FBI that authorized illegal leaks while lying to Congress, the Mar-a-Lago raid. It wasn't about protecting classified documents. It was about covering up crimes that make Watergate look like a parking ticket. What you're about to see in this report proves the deep state tried to overthrow our government, and they almost got away with it. So stay tuned. Now, the establishment's aging cover-up is finally crumbling, and just like our bodies show signs of wear over time, their lies are breaking down. And speaking of aging, as we get older, our body's collagen production declines, leading to visible signs like wrinkles and sagging skin. And by our 40s, collagen levels have significantly decreased, dropping another 1% yearly. That's why I have relied on Ageless Multi-Collagen for years and appreciate their sponsorship of this program. It includes 5 key types of collagen from 4 premium sources, perfectly blended into hydrolyzed peptides your body absorbs faster. Every order helps feed hungry children through NoKidHungry.org. It's non-GMO. It's free from artificial additives. You can get yours at healthwithgary.com for 51% off, free shipping, and exclusive bonuses. Now let's expose what Obama desperately tried to hide. So who can ever forget these visuals on your screen right here? President Trump's mugshot. All of the folks that were attacked in the Fani Willis RICO case. The pastor on the bottom left actually was here in studio. I interviewed him regarding the case. But it's time that these mugshots disappeared, or we just exchanged them for the mugshots of Hillary Clinton, James Clapper, Comer, Brennan, Barr, all of them. Obama, perhaps. General Flynn confirming he met with Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth this morning explains the recent bout of attacks against General Flynn deep state goons and with get-ahead orders so predictable. Let's check in with General Flynn first.
Things happening. Well, I'm actually here in Washington, D.C. I had a great meeting with the Secretary of Defense this morning on some other issues, but very important time that we are in right now. A lot of things still coming out from the DNI and I think DOJ over the weekend. So a lot of things happening. In addition to, I know what you wanted to talk about really was this deal or no deal, right? Are we going to get a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine, and frankly, Russia and the West, as we saw Trump meeting with damn near half of the European Union? Well, I'm actually here in Washington.
What's interesting is you're listening to General Flynn talk there. He's being very coy about why he was meeting with the Secretary of Defense. Now, as a former national security advisor and decorated general who was attacked by the deep state, he was a victim of the entire Obamagate, Russiagate hoax. And then how he's talking about what happened over the weekend with the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, the FBI, the DOJ. And he's in Washington, D.C., so one can only speculate what types of conversations were had. He's playing it very close to the vest with respect to what those conversations were about. So I can only speculate that, as we already saw with the raid on John Bolton's house, that if he brings up Gabbard, he brings up the FBI, brings up the DOJ, knowing the investigations that are ongoing with respect to those individuals, I could guarantee you the conversations were about what is coming next. So we can only hope and pray that we do see the perp walks. Now, I want to get to Devin Nunes here because he had some remarkable things to say. This was just posted 6 hours ago. Devin Nunes, Barack Obama raided Mar-a-Lago because he wanted his manufactured ICA report back. The ICA report is the nexus point for Tulsi Gabbard's entire investigation. They manufactured that. That's what triggered the entire Obamagate or the entire Russiagate scandal. And remember, it goes back further. It goes back directly to Hillary Clinton and Julian Smith, who came up with the idea. So let's check in and hear what Devin Nunes, breaking it down, says.
Assessment that they raided Mar-a-Lago because they were looking for this. They were looking for the intelligence community assessment. Your report on Russia's influence campaign targeting the 2016 presidential election. That's why they raided Mar-a-Lago.
I believe it had to be one of the things that they were looking for. Because, look, that report is pretty damning.
Now, critics say some members of the Obama administration could face legal implications for their actions here, and Biden officials could potentially face similar exposure for covering it up. The CIA director, from whom we just heard, wants to know ultimately if it all adds up to a criminal conspiracy.
To Pam Bondi and our Department of Justice, Kash Patel, and our FBI to investigate the conspiracy to do what and what charges that they're capable of bringing. But again, I don't think statute of limitations are going to impact, because in a conspiracy, Maria, the statute of limitation doesn't start to run until the last act in furtherance of that conspiracy.
Remember, the more that they talk about these actions, the longer the statute of limitations has to run out. And the shocking secret revealed political scandal. Be sure to tune in to the newest episode. Let's listen.
To my,
as John
soon
Solomon,
as Hillary gets cleared.
John Solomon here.
As soon as Hillary gets cleared, she wants to change the subject in America from the email scandal, which she's been dogged by for almost a year, to something that would put Donald Trump on the offensive.
This all lends itself to my belief that the Obama administration was, in fact, the most corrupt administration in history. They tend to claim, scandal-free, but it wasn't scandal-free. I mean, we've got Hillary Clinton's email problems. That tied into this based on what you just said. Can you explain that and why they had to do what they did to attack President Trump?
So the U.S. Intelligence Committee actually intercepted communications of the Russians who had been spying on Hillary Clinton's plan, and what the Russians decided, or what they learned from their spying on the Clinton campaign, is that Clinton personally approved a plan in July 2016 after James Comey magically waved a wand and said, "You're absolved of your email problems." She had been using a private server and moving highly classified information through it in violation of federal protocols and likely in violation of the Espionage Act. But she was cleared of it because James Comey decided he just wasn't going to prosecute her. Now, he didn't have that authority. He was the FBI director. He had no right to do that, but he did it anyway. As soon as Hillary gets cleared, she wants to change the subject in America from the email scandal, which she's been dogged by for almost a year.
So she gets cleared, and then what happens magically next? What happens? You have the Russiagate scandal unfold. Kash Patel going on Fox, laying down the law on Russiagate. If there's anyone who knows the ins and outs of this, it's Kash. Very important videos. Let's watch.
The Biden administration dating back to the answer to both of those questions is the same in terms of origination. It was a total weaponization and politicization by the FBI and DOJ in the Biden administration dating back to the Obama administration that led not only to Russiagate, as you opened up with, but to the invasion of Donald Trump's private home in Mar-a-Lago. There was, as we now know, thanks to the federal courts, there was no constitutional basis to do so. There was no lawful predicate to open that investigation. But once you let the politicians run the FBI and DOJ and weaponize it against their political opponents, like they have done for years against Donald Trump, back to Russiagate and to his home, we are now showing and exposing again the weaponization. And to your second point, once we rid, and that's what we're doing here at the FBI, ridding this place of its former leadership structure that did that weaponization, and we're giving accountability to the American people as we find it. As you highlighted, myself, Director Ratcliffe, and others in the intelligence community are declassifying documents at a great rate to publicize what we're finding so the American public can read it for themselves.
Kash, has there been a full investigation of the Mar-a-Lago invasion? Why, where, when, who did it? You talk about the leaders. I guess we can blame the leaders of the FBI, but there are a lot of people on the ground. I don't know how that all works. Question, has there been a major league investigation? I don't think the public is aware of one, or if there is, what the conclusions were.
Look, Larry, on this one, as you know, I got to be careful in terms of what investigations we formally have open. But you know this from me. I've been on the Russiagate beat for about a decade, dating back to my time with Congressman Chairman Devin Nunes, exposing the corruption at the FISA court, the illegalities and the weaponization there, and the involvement of Hillary Clinton's campaign to directly fund and weaponize the Department of Justice and the FBI. And what I'm committed to here as the director of FBI is to root it all out. And here's the thing, Larry, we are answering questions publicly so the public knows what we're doing in terms of whether or not we have an investigation. Putting that aside, these documents show that people in leadership positions may have lied. Brennan, Clapper, Comey. We are not going to leave one document unturned. That is why we are going out throughout this building and throughout the country and finding these materials that they wrote down in burn bags and tried to destroy. And all of it, in my opinion, we are going to show the public, at least through the declassification process and the documents we're producing, that it is public. And whether or not this investigation is going as far-reaching as it should, I will just answer you with this. While I can't comment on the investigation itself, me specifically, have shown the American public time and time again of the weaponization, and now I'm the director of the FBI thanks to Donald Trump, and we have a great Attorney General in Pam Bondi, and where we can find accountability, we are joining forces literally on a daily basis to do so, especially on the matters involving Russiagate. No one knows it better than the team we've built here.
Listen, I know. I mean, you've been on this show many times. We've talked about it on this show many times. We've talked about it on the radio show. But, Kash, can you say there is an investigation of the FBI's role in that invasion?
I am, of course, overseeing the current matters that the FBI involved themselves with from Russiagate on. And whether or not there's an open investigation, Larry, I think you know that I can't answer that, but I think you know that our partners across the IC would not be divulging this type of information if it did not serve some sort of use. For me, specifically here at the FBI, I can't speak for them. And, of course, I won't speak to any charging decisions on any matters. That will come with the collaboration of our great partners at DOJ, who work hand-in-hand with us every day.
I know.
Baby, let's freaking go. Let her rip. Let her rip. Let's check this out. This is the Chris Stiegel Show. Obamagate, the biggest political scandal since Watergate. We want accountability, not retribution.
Blatant instability. We want accountability, not retribution. We're not looking for getting even. We want accountability for what was done to us. And young people.
No. You can say it. That's okay. We want retribution. We have been dragged through hell. The entire United States, the Trump family, all dragged straight through hell because of Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, the deep state apparatus. Okay, sure. You want to call it accountability? That's fine. I respect your choice of words. But retribution is a little bit more like it. Because I know everyone watching right now is just as pissed as I am.
People do too. You know, what's been discovered about this Russia collusion hoax is stunning. Or Obamagate. This is a historic scandal. I mean, it surpasses Watergate by a lot. It's blatant institutional corruption. Officials from the Obama administration weaponize intelligence to fabricate stories against Donald Trump. It undermines American democracy as we know it. They have tried for years, the Democrats have. You know, the Washington Post used to say, democracy dies in the darkness. No, Democrats actually tried to kill democracy in the darkness. At its core, coordinated deep state efforts to delegitimize a duly elected president, using a discredited dossier to do it. There was never evidence to support it. And the assistance by the media to help in this coordinated takedown of Donald Trump is the most disgusting part.
Oh, there's no question. The media facilitated it. The media amplified it. The deep state leaking to the media. I mean, for years, that's all we heard. Russia, 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 Russia.
It's disgusting the way the media helped institutional corruption. Yesterday, Tulsi Gabbard amplified this, exposing more emails from 2016 in which James Clapper pressured CIA director, the NSA guy, the James Comey who ran the FBI, pressured all these guys to just abandon what they know to be true and treat this as a team sport and be all in on Russia collusion. They pressured the guy at NSA, Rogers, who didn't like this, didn't want to rush this, said it was insufficient, not a good report. They said, just stick to the script, dude. Don't give us a hard time. Trump is a puppet of Russia. That's it. And now, so we know. This built on prior instances. Adam Schiff's authorization of classified leaks to indict Trump. Jim Comey at FBI. Using agents and people inside his department to funnel leaks and false information and false storylines to the New York Times. Obama taking over police departments, as I've talked about, which actually led to more crime, by the way. And they call Trump a fascist.
Yeah, they call Trump a fascist. Yeah. Let's keep going. We got some more here. Chicago One Ray 5 hours ago. Every one of these traitors were in on the conspiracy to unseat a duly elected president. Justice is coming. Every one of them. Newly declassified memos reveal former FBI leadership authorized classified leaks while misleading Congress. This is FBI Director Kash Patel 24 hours ago. Thanks to President Trump's push for transparency, the cover-up is finally being exposed. Accountability must follow. Exclusive. Prosecutors secured evidence. Comey authorized classified leaks but declined charges. I know we have something here. Check this out. Okay, this is Implicit Bias Radio 24 hours ago. Rumor has it John Brennan is hiding out in Austria. They write, no idea if it's true, but since it didn't come from CNN, maybe there's hope. Are ex-officials really skipping town these days? Let's listen.
There are reports that John Brennan has left the country and is hiding out in Austria right now. Now, whether that report is true, I don't know. But given that it didn't come from CNN means it's got a better chance that it's true than if it did come from CNN. And if you've got former high-ranking officials, it's a big if you've got former big high-ranking officials hiding out outside the country, that tells me a lot. And let's be honest, let's see, who all is left? There are reports that John Brennan...
Now, it wouldn't surprise me if they have left the country. Not at all. Christina Aguillo posting this. Just 21 hours ago, John Brennan has reportedly fled the states to Austria after declassified documents implicated him in the Obama Russiagate scandal, according to Roger Stone. Stone, a former Trump campaign advisor who also worked on campaigns for Richard Nixon and Ronald Reagan, recently alleged that Brennan has a makeshift studio in Austria where he broadcasts his appearances on MSNBC from. Stone has posted a photo of Brennan, made to look like mugshots, with the title "Wanted for Treason." Brennan, who serves as a national security analyst for MSNBC and NBC News, has continued to appear on air and has not mentioned anything about relocation. The former CIA director is under investigation by the DOJ for allegedly making false statements to Congress about the 2016 Russia collusion investigation into Trump and the Steele dossier paid for by the Hillary campaign. Brennan faces potential perjury charges, among other things, and because of FBI Director Kash Patel's conspiracy route, the statute of limitations will not apply. And this is the image that Roger Stone posted. Ante for treason, CIA Director John Brennan. I can only assume that that is written in German, because if he is in Austria, that's likely the language that would make sense for him. Carly Bonet asks, when is someone going to get locked up? It's time for the perp walks. Let's check in with John Solomon on Fox. And while we're doing that, I'm going to check Roger Stone's feed for any updates.
National security information.
Solomon is with us. Is this the smoking gun?
Well, it's something pretty hot, I'll say that. Listen, you have now the former general counsel, the former chief lawyer to James Comey saying, I leaked classified information, he tells federal agents and prosecutors, and I did so at the instruction of James Comey's chief of staff, who told me James Comey authorized me to go do this. We now have a really significant evidence trail that James Comey may have had national security information leaked to the American public just before the election, putting his finger potentially on the scale of the election. And what's important about this is that knowing and willful leaks like this, if they have a negative effect on the national interest, the security of the country, they can be prosecuted up to 10 years, which makes this October 2016 leak that the FBI was able to, that the investigators and prosecutors able to confirm, still prosecutable until next October of 2026. Pam Bondi said, I just heard what she said. She said in the show today, no one should be allowed to jeopardize national security. There will be accountability. Kash Patel saying that this was a stain on the FBI and one that now has to be fully transposed. When you look at the investigation, Sean, which, by the way, occurred, a lot of it occurred during Trump's first term in office, really weak work by prosecutors and people working on this. They had a chance to go get emails that would show what Comey and his people were talking about. They didn't go secure them. They didn't bring a lot of people before the grand jury. There is room for Pam Bondi and Kash Patel right now to open a criminal investigation, get new evidence, and help the American people see just how bad this might have been.
Is this part two? Because there was the issue of the Columbia professor. Was that classified material as well?
Sure. Yeah, listen, I want to credit Attorney General Bondi and Director Kash Patel, because I made a request to have this information unredacted. It was redacted in the first production. We saw the stuff about Mr. Richmond. We saw the stuff about Adam Schiff. Right? We know that's the other person who was identified as likely authorizing illegal national security leaks. But this was originally redacted, and the Attorney General went to the Matt, for us to go get this information so we can see it. And when you see it now, you see its significance. Remember, James Comey was questioned astutely by Senator Chuck Grassley in the Judiciary Committee, May 3rd, 2017. Were you ever an anonymous source? No. Did you ever ask someone to be an anonymous source? No. Did you ever authorize the leak of classified information or declassify something so it could go to a reporter? Never. No. Those words are now going to potentially be looked at as a potential obstruction of Congress. If this statute of limitations and the possibility of a conspiracy case, James Comey faces a potentially very serious matter right now.
It's James Comey, baby. Okay, so I found the post of what Roger Stone said. This is August 13th. He said this. Source is now telling me Brennan has moved to Ireland once I expose his presence in Austria. This Islamic convert and admitted communist can run, but he cannot hide. Remind me again what the penalty for treason is. So now he is in Ireland, apparently, according to Roger Stone of August 13th. Now on August 11th, Roger Stone said this. Sources tell me that admitted communist Islamic convert and traitor John Brennan has fled the country and is in hiding out in Austria, where MSNBC has built a makeshift studio for him to make it appear he's in the United States. Brennan has no intention of returning to the country and can be considered to be on the lam. So here is the wanted for treason image that he posted. So that was August 11th, and then just a couple days after, it appears as though Roger Stone says he is now in Ireland. Very interesting how this is all shaping up. Let's continue. I think we have some more here. Here, yes, of course, the fake news, trying to say that Obamagate's almost a decade old, so it shouldn't matter anymore.
Russia's efforts, a lot of information out there about Russia's efforts 9 years ago to interfere in the election.
And so, Chris, throwing it all the way back to 2016, it is a long time ago. You've been part of the Intel Committee for a long time. Is there any doubt about the intelligence that found Russia tried to help Trump in that election?
So no, and not any election really since the Cold War. It should not surprise Americans that Russian intelligence officers are interfering in American affairs. In this case, the SVR, the FSB, and the GRU, which is actually their military intelligence component, directly got involved in trying to sow discord in American society, create polarization, make Americans, different components, hyper-aware of issues that really were, appealing to different sides. But I think it's important to point out, and a lot
of information out there about.
Yeah. The mainstream media still carrying water for the deep state, but not us. What do we do here every day? We expose every single one of these seditious traitors, as Tulsi Gabbard calls them. Here is Fox News. Okay, I think we played this already. Let's see here. Did we cover anything? Yes, we did. We covered it all. And but we ain't done covering it because this story ain't over yet. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So this changes everything we thought we knew about the Russia hoax. Devin Nunes just confirmed Obama himself ordered the Mar-a-Lago raid to retrieve his manufactured intelligence report, the same fake document used to spy on Trump's campaign. Kash Patel says that there was zero legal basis for the raid. John Brennan reportedly fled to Austria and then to Ireland as these documents drop. General Flynn is back advising our defense secretary while the rats scatter. This wasn't just political opposition. This was an attempted coup by a sitting president against his successor. They weaponized the CIA, the FBI, and the DOJ to overturn an election, then tried to cover it up by raiding Trump's home. Every American should be absolutely outraged. So here is my question. Should Barack Hussein Obama face prosecution for orchestrating this coup? Or does he have presidential immunity? Drop a yes or no in the comments. Let's continue this conversation and show your support for real justice. Grab your next news gear from our shop. It's linked down below. All right. Alan Frost dropping $2. Thank you, Alan, for that. And it's Christmas. He got the immunity only while in office, says Carolyn. Tom B 420 drops a 10 spot. Thank you, Tom B. Love you guys. Yes, most definitely. Goodbye, Obama. Says Brennan needs to be housed with Big Bubba, says Sean. No immunity for traitors, says Elaine. Great idea. Cancel the passports. Oh, yeah. Tyson, would make sense that John Brennan would return to his home country of Germany, where Nazis were born. Now he's in Ireland. You can run, but you can't hide. Traitor, says Tyson. Myra Meek says nothing will happen. Craig has just gifted a membership, and the broken prophet is the recipient. Wood chipper, he says. All right, so let's get to our answer. You guys said his manufactured ICA report. I gave you the answer in that segment, so well done on paying attention. The answer was, in fact, B, his manufactured ICA report, the intelligence community assessment that launched the Russia hoax. Obama wanted it back badly. Now, moving into our next topic, the National Guard moving to Chicago after all that success in D.C. We've got all the details, but first, a trivia question. How many murders occurred in D.C. during Trump's first week of crime cleanup? A, 47, one for each president. B, 0, first time ever. C, 666, the Devils defeated. Or D, 350. Nice try. All right. You guys can weigh in the comments or the chat, but let's get into what's happening now. Let's see. I want to get to that point. Okay, here we go. All right. America's most dangerous city. Wait, Brian, I think we got to fix the Zoom. Thank you, sir. All right. America's most dangerous city is about to meet its match. After what just happened in Washington, D.C., President Trump is taking his law and order campaign straight into the heart of Chicago's war zones. For the first time in living memory, our nation's capital went an entire week without a single murder. 719 arrests, 91 illegal guns seized, career criminals rounded up and shipped out. The formula works, and now it's Chicago's turn. I can only imagine what Mayor Brandon Johnson is doing right now, probably hiding in his bedroom, screaming into his pillows. But the president just made an announcement. There's gang leaders running scared and law-abiding citizens cheering in the streets. The National Guard mobilizing, and the countdown has begun. So what happens next will transform urban America forever. Do not look away. And while Trump cleans up our streets, let's talk about cleaning up something else, the visible signs of aging. As we age, our body's collagen production declines, leading to wrinkles, sagging skin, crow's feet, and smile lines. By the time we reach our 40s, collagen levels have significantly decreased, dropping another 1% each year. Collagen makes up a third of our skin's protein, giving it structure and strength. That's why I've relied on Ageless Multi-Collagen for years. I'm obsessed with the results. Look at my skin. 5 key types of collagen from 4 sources, perfectly blended into hydrolyzed peptides for faster absorption, plus every order donates a meal to hungry kids. Get 51% off at healthwithgary.com with free shipping and exclusive bonuses. Now let's get back to Chicago's transformation. This was the scene in the Oval Office just a few hours ago. President Trump announcing he will be surging the National Guard into Chicago after the D.C. operation is complete. Trump is taking back the streets of America's cities by any means necessary. Let's check in with the president.
Grossly incompetent to do, we have to. And after we do this, we'll go to another location and we'll make it safe also. We're going to make our country very safe. We're going to make our cities very, very safe. Chicago's a mess. You have an incompetent mayor, grossly incompetent. And we'll straighten that one out probably next. That'll be our next one after this. And it won't even be tough. And the people in Chicago, Mr. Vice President, are screaming for us to come. They're wearing red hats, just like this one. But they're wearing red hats. African-American ladies, beautiful ladies, are saying, please, President Trump, come to Chicago. Please. I did great with the black vote, as you know, and they want something to happen. So I think Chicago will be our next, and then we'll help with New York, and we're going to help with. And I think a lot of these people that you see on television, they're including the people in this audience. They'll say bad things about me, and then they'll say, "Thank God he's here," because half of them got mugged. To do, we have to. And after we do this, we'll.
Okay, I was just checking. This was posted 2 hours ago by Chicago Flips Red. Consistency is key, and Chicago Flips Red stayed consistent from the trenches to City Hall to Capitol Hill, still in the trenches. Shout out to President Trump for recognizing us and our baseball caps. It is RICO time. Chicago residents tearing into Mayor Johnson again. President Trump, this is clearly a photograph that he signed once they gave it to him. Here's another picture of Chicago flipping red. People loving this. Folks, in Chicago flips red. President Trump acknowledging the red hats. And we have this. This was posted actually 5 days ago. Strangely, it lines up with what President Trump has just announced. And clearly, you can see, here's the Chicagoan saying, hey, Trump, you need to bring the National Guard to Chicago. 5 days ago, these remarks were made. And now, just a few hours ago, President Trump saying, yeah, Chicago's on the list. Black Americans have started uploading videos requesting President Trump clean up Chicago. Dom Lucier, breaker of narratives, posting this. Let's listen.
Hey, Trump, you need to bring the National Guards to Chicago, man. You got kids killing kids, man. That's not good, man. Washington, D.C., is not much going on compared to Chicago, man. I'm running. It's a war happening right now in Chicago, man. Hey, look, man. Look, go on the news, or go on Google, type Chicago. I'm going back home to Africa, man. I can't. Too much going on, man, in Chicago, man.
Oh, but that's not it. That's not all. Here's one posted 3 days ago. President Trump paying very close attention to the people in Chicago. Common Sense writes, I agree 100%. I can't wait till Trump does Chicago.
See, it's a lot of y'all out here talking about, yeah, Trump better keep it in D.C. He better not come to Baltimore. He better not come to Chicago. I got some bad news for you. He's coming to different cities. So all of y'all that want crime, unalivings, carjackings, theft, and terrorizing in your cities, he coming for y'all too, man. Look, it's changing. Y'all could call it racism or whatever you want, man, targeting black people. But if you're not a criminal, you ain't got nothing to worry about. And let's just say, as a black man, let's say I get stopped and frisked, and it's unfair, and I'm not doing anything. Guess what I'm gonna do? Yeah, what y'all need? My license? Yeah, here you go. I ain't got nothing to hide. You know, I can very well be pissed about the situation because they stopped a black man. But if it means safer streets and I can enjoy myself in Washington, D.C., so be it. Oh, well. Moving on with my day. I got other shit to worry about. And this needs to be done, man. You see endless videos, people robbing CVS, Walgreens, Rite Aid, especially out in L.A. and San Francisco. Shit crazy. But a lot of times, as long as it's not affecting y'all cool with it. So it'll be interesting.
Okay, so check this out. This is all breaking right now. Smart News reports the Chicago mayor calls Trump's National Guard deployment plan unconstitutional and uncoordinated. Forgive me, uncoordinated, uncalled for.
You said people gonna die?
That's what he's gonna probably try to say. Jar Jar, I'm sorry. Chicago mayor calls Trump National Guard deployment plan uncoordinated, uncalled for, and unsound. Mayor Brandon Johnson blasted Trump over what he described as threats to deploy the National Guard in Chicago to crack down on crime. Johnson's comments came hours after Trump made the announcement. President Trump says politicians want him to deploy troops to other cities as well as following the federalization of D.C. Gabriela Iglesias writes, to me, D.C. is exciting, and a lot of people say, where's he going to go from here? Let's listen to the president.
When they asked him to go happening, but to me, D.C. is very exciting. And a lot of people say, well, where's he going from there? Well, I have calls from politicians begging me to go to Chicago, begging me to go to New York, begging me to go to Los Angeles. And if we didn't go to Los Angeles with Newsom, they run it so badly, I don't think we would have been able to have the Olympics. They would have ripped down that city. We went there and it stopped day one. And the chief of police in Los Angeles, when they asked him the question, he said, thank God they came, because we could not have handled what was happening. We went in, we stopped it, and that was it. So they needed help. They don't like to say it. I wish they'd say, I need help. I wish the mayor of D.C. would say, you know, we're overridden with crime and we need help, instead of saying the stats are down. I mean, they're under investigation now for fake numbers, where they fudged their numbers. And they did. There's no question about it. They said, oh, we're on a downtrend for 20 years. No, they're on an uptrend for 20 years. But
President Trump correcting the record as calls for the National Guard to other cities increases. I meme, therefore I am. Sarcastically writes, Trump takeover of D.C. is brutal. White National Guardsmen seen assaulting elderly black woman at a metro station. Oops, never mind, he writes. And it's a video of a National Guardsman helping an elderly black woman down the stairs. So I guess this is what martial law looks like in President Trump's America. The National Guard helping elderly women. Isn't that hilarious? Of course, people are going to freak out. Oversight Project asking a question. Does President Trump have the authority to call in the National Guard to Washington, D.C.? Let's find out.
The Constitution. Did President Trump have the authority to call in the National Guard to Washington, D.C.?
Yes, he absolutely had that authority. The Posse Comitatus Act limits using the military for domestic law enforcement except when authorized by the Constitution or Congress. The Constitution is crystal clear. Article 1 empowers Congress to, quote, exercise exclusive legislation in all cases whatsoever, close quote, over D.C. That means federal officials, not local officials, hold ultimate authority to secure our nation's capital. The 10th Amendment reserves police powers to the states, but D.C. isn't a state. It's a federal territory, and its National Guard reports directly to the president, not to a governor. As head of the federal executive branch and commander-in-chief, the president already has control of the D.C. Guard, and Congress has delegated to him broad authority to act in the Capitol when security is at risk. So when President Trump deployed the National Guard in D.C., he wasn't skirting the law. He was exercising authority in the Constitution itself. It was our commander-in-chief fulfilling his duty to protect the property and the people within the seat of our national government.
Oversight Project, nice action there. We got some more. Let's keep going, breaking it down. President Trump. Here's Secretary Noem. She says you need to look like you respect yourself before anyone's going to respect you.
Yourself before anybody respect you. Sir, you're reminding me of something that my dad used to say all the time when I was growing up. He would say, Christy, you kids need to look like you respect yourself before anybody's going to respect you. And in this country, when people look at our streets, when they look at our Capitol, you're bringing respect back to this city. And people will respect our country more because it's safe, it's clean, it's beautiful. And what you're doing is transforming this nation by making sure that our laws are upheld. And millions of people are going to come and be able to enjoy it next year. And I'm excited about that. Thank you for doing that. Sir, you're reminding me. Here
we have Judge Jeanine Pirro 40 arrests and 5 more guns off the streets of D.C. There have now been 719 arrests, 91 guns seized. President Trump is making D.C. safe again.
Us to a total. Hi, everyone. It's Judge Janine. I'm here in D.C., and it is Friday, August the 22nd. Last night, 40 criminal arrests, 5 guns seized as part of the surge of President Trump's attempt to make D.C. safe and beautiful. And it brings us to a total of 719 arrests since the president decided that he was going to bring in all of our federal partners to work with the Metropolitan PD. And it brings us up to 91 guns that have been taken off the street, with the additional 5 from last night. 91 guns that cannot be used now to shoot or harm other people. The best part about all this is when you talk to the people who live in D.C., they're comfortable going to dinner, they're comfortable going for a stroll. The show of force by President Trump is making the quality of life better for the people in the district. And, I want to remind you that this pretty much began with the attack on that ex-Doge person who was working at the White House, who was, as part of an attempted carjacking, pretty much beaten to a pulp. Well, I got news on that front as well. The 2 15-year-olds out of the 8 or 10 that attacked the ex-Doge staffer and his woman friend that he was with have been released from the family court, and they have been told that they are now on a curfew. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is why I want jurisdiction of these cases, because as a prosecutor, it's time to prosecute these individuals so they get and understand the consequences of what they have done. In the meantime, we are now 8 days without a homicide in the district. That is pretty stunning. We have 101 homicides so far this year, and for the last 5 or 6 months, we've had at least 1 homicide a week, and we haven't had any for the last 8 days. Now, why do you think that is? Do you think that what President is doing is having a positive effect? Because I do. Hi, everyone. It's Judge Janine. I'm here in D.C.
Well said, Judge Janine. I remember meeting her outside of a Project Veritas event in Washington. Was it in Washington, D.C.? No. It was in Orlando, actually. Here we have this, a triggered leftist with all the buzzwords, and says millions of people will die.
You said people gonna die?
That's what they say, Jar Jar. They say that. They try to scare us with those kind of words. But we won't let them, right, Jar Jar?
Convicted felon. This is fascism. This will end in genocide. Millions of people will die if we do not stop this now.
You think millions of people gonna die?
People will die. Yes.
Really?
Yes. I don't trust you.
So is this gonna be a genocide?
No. Not at all.
And that guy did bring a good point up. It is the Second Amendment. You do have the right to bear arms. What was wrong with this guy having a gun?
Convicted felon, more than likely.
Are felons not allowed to have guns?
No, not at all.
And even more protesters showed up to support the fugitive.
Go fuck yourself. Oh, y'all support
this
fascism.
This is DC for y'all.
Hey, go fuck all them agencies, though. Go all those agencies.
Go ahead, drag on them. It's a normal day in DC, though. It's a normal day in DC, man.
What do you think about what's going on? You can tell you're upset. You're yelling fascism, the wrong side of history.
This is my city. My family's been here for 6 generations. We've been federal workers for 6 generations. What is going on now is the worst thing that I could imagine. This is war. They are taking over our city. They are taking over our country. This is just the beginning. Everybody's got to get out here.
You say it's war. To what extent are you willing to fight back?
I got kids, It's tough to say. We'll see what happens.
Who are you more scared of? Federal law enforcement or a 13-year-old walking out with a gun?
Federal law enforcement, absolutely.
What's the youngest age you've seen somebody walking out with a Glock here in Washington, D.C.?
Man, my age, 14.
I'll go with
14.
13 or 12.
Nah.
13 or 12. What I see. Yeah. Nowadays, it's not rare to find you somebody that has blood on them.
And this is where it gets super crazy, because after law enforcement had to interview the lady, they found that she was not guilty of anything, so her son came and picked her up, and he was in support of law enforcement. Meanwhile, all these protesters who have no idea about what's going on are against what law enforcement is doing. This is what the Sun had to say. And surprisingly, the Sun is also a part of law enforcement here in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
Was that your father that got arrested?
Yeah, my stepfather.
Your stepfather?
And my mom, yeah. Yeah, D.C. needed to be cleaned up. I grew up in D.C. with, my mom was shot 9 times when I was a kid. I mean, I've seen my stepfather, walking from the house, maybe 3 blocks away, get cut across his eye, just walking down here as a kid. I'd say from the physical abuse, from drugs, from, I'd say substance abuse, from alcohol, you name it. Mm-hmm. DC needed it. It needed this. So I wasn't expecting all of this, but hey, unfortunately, the people that don't live in DC, they want to throw out, DC's not that bad. Well, if you're not in certain areas around certain times, or you're not around certain people, I guess you may not experience it if you ever come to visit. But you stay long enough, you will.
So do you feel like it was necessary for all this to happen?
When it comes down to the crime, 100%. When it comes down to, DC, this is one of the areas where, you'll see human trafficking, you'll see drug traffic, and well, yeah, I've got a kid on the way. I don't want my kids being exposed to something like it. Mm-hmm. Every agency right now is super understaffed. So when it comes down to manpower, yeah, this might look like too much, but if you haven't been out here in your vest or in our boots, you really can't sit there and judge us. We do this because we've got families back at home.
Looks like more protesters have gathered up as we are leaving. Oh, what's up?
Sorry. Bacon. Sorry. Don't want to mess up your propaganda shots or anything.
Oh, yeah, don't do that.
Look, it's a bunch of guys in a car. Every time I see y'all, you're with a bunch of dudes. You internalize homosexuals.
That was a new one. That's some nice comments. I bet that makes you feel good when you're leaving.
Yeah.
What'd you think about that comeback from them? First Amendment right. They just called you a homo.
Everybody has an opinion.
I'm not a homo.
Oh, man. You gotta love it. Right along there, Nick pushing back, getting sick of the incredible amount of disrespect they throw his way. Here's some more.
Field interview with her. Right here is the fugitive. They caught him. They got him underneath arrest. They had the girl with him underneath arrest. She's getting detained. They're running a field interview with her. And this right here is a wanted fugitive that's being taken off the streets of Washington, D.C. We found a gun underneath a tree trunk, and he's also been known for selling drugs here. So, just like that, you guys just got a fugitive off the streets.
Absolutely.
And you think this guy would have been?
And we've been looking for this guy for about 2 days.
As they arrested a wanted fugitive who sells drugs and also was possessing a gun illegally, a group of protesters began to form. Do we feel good about ourselves? Yeah, we feel great, actually. Why do you think it's pathetic? They just arrested a guy who had a gun underneath a tree trunk. Why is it pathetic?
Because it's pathetic.
That they found a guy who had a gun underneath a tree
When
trunk.
pathetic, okay, you can justify anything. You backfill your beliefs constantly. You're targeting all the unhoused in the city. Get the fucking microphone out of my face.
You get out of my face if you're going to act like that. How's it going? They just found a man who was selling drugs. My name's Nick Shirley, actually. You could go ahead and subscribe on YouTube. But anyways, they found a man who had a gun underneath a tree trunk, known for selling drugs. He's a fugitive, and you're mad. Mm-hmm. You're mad. How are you mad that they found a fugitive on the streets of Washington, D.C.?
Don't worry about me.
But how are you mad?
U.S. Marshals, how are you tonight?
Are you U.S. Marshals, okay?
Yeah.
You're not faking it?
Sir?
You're not faking it like a lot of the other folks around here? You're not faking the U.S. Marshal shit?
No. Right there.
Name, badge number?
Mike Sanders.
What's your name? Why don't you pull down your mask?
We're done talking.
Why don't you pull down your mask?
We're done talking. Don't worry about it.
Right here is the fugitive.
Man, I need to get to D.C. and do a ride-along. Would you guys like to see that? That would be fun. Here is President Trump personally thanking and shaking hands with federal local law enforcement, helping to make D.C. safe again. This was recorded yesterday when he went out to patrol the streets with the National Guard. Beautiful moment. Look at all those people. So happy to see the President, Commander-in-Chief, making America safe again. And then President Trump remarking about the murders that have stopped in D.C.
To say that there's been no murders since I started. And, it's a terrible thing to say. Who would think that you have to say that there have been no murders? It's terrible. I wrote it this morning. I said, it's hard to say this, but It's actually good news, but it's a hell of a thing to say. There have been no murders in the last week, and nobody can remember the last time that this happened. And there won't be murders because all the thugs are hiding, or they're being sent back to their countries, or they're in jail. And it'll only get better. There's been no murders since I started. And, you know, it's a terrible thing to say. Who would think that you have to say that there have been no murders?
Yep, I'll make sure I wear my press patch. Here's President Trump more talking about the career criminals.
So then the big question is, how long do we stay? Because if we stay, we want to make sure it doesn't come back. So we have to take care of these criminals and get them out of it. We've collected hundreds of career criminals. These are career criminals. You're not going to teach them to be nice. These are probably born that way. I don't know. But they're career criminals. They're very, very dangerous people. They would love to be with you for a little while and slap you around, but I put my money on this guy. He'd take them, right? He'd take them down so quickly. He's saying, I don't want any part of it. No, people don't want to be that. And we have over 1,000 arrests. We're taking career criminals off the streets. It's my ambition that when we're complete, we can take everybody out and you have a great capital. Then the big question.
Beautiful. Here is more about the infrastructure in D.C. The president speaking of it.
About $2 billion. It hasn't been clean. Now it's going to be clean. I'm giving out a contract very soon. Susie's with me. We're going to be raising about $2 billion from Congress. And Congress is happy to do it. And we're going to wisely spend the money. We're doing it with Clark Construction. We're going to head out right from the Capitol and the White House. And if you look at a circle, and go about 3 miles out, it's going to be beautiful. All those light poles, see the poles, they're rusting, and they got different lenses on top. If you look, I mean, just looking at so many different problems. And we're going to have this place beautified within a period of 12 months. The streets are going to be retopped, not ripped up and rebuilt, and they're no good after they rebuild them because they start settling. We're going to take off the asphalt and put beautiful, well-done asphalt. You know, have a good asphalt worker. It's the greatest thing you can have, but there aren't too many of them. But I know all the good contractors. So this place will be beautified within a period of months. So it'll be safe and beautified. It hasn't been.
Wow, man. That is so cool to hear him talk like that. Here he is more. Oh, we just played that here. No murder since I started. Yeah, so remarkable things happening. President Trump talking about Chicago on the list. People in Chicago crying out for Donald Trump to show up and make Chicago safe again. And I can only imagine what is happening right now with Mayor Brandon Johnson clearly having a panic attack, reaching for his medication. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. This is what leadership looks like, real leadership. While Chicago's mayor plays politics with crime statistics, President Trump is sending in the cavalry. D.C. proved the model works. 0 murders in a week after years of bloodshed. 719 criminals arrested, nearly 100 illegal guns off the streets. Trump personally thanking every officer involved, shaking their hands on the ground. Now Chicago's gang leaders are about to learn what happens when you terrorize American citizens. And Brandon Johnson's going to learn what happens when you ignore the law. See, the president isn't just fighting crime. He's rebuilding these cities from the ground up with infrastructure and beautification projects. For too long, Democrats let our cities rot while good people lived in fear. And that all ends now. So here's my question. Should Trump deploy the National Guard to every Democrat-run city with out-of-control crime? Which city should he start with? Drop your answer in the comments below. Let's continue the conversation. And while you're at it, make sure you check out our America First merch collection, linked in the description, where you can trigger a liberal today at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. All right. No new super chats to speak of. We're at $28.99. We need to hit at least 100 right now. We have to hit 100. Let's do it. I know you guys can do it. I know you guys can bring us there. Let's make it happen. Only criminals and insane people don't want the National Guard, says Tyson. Flying Goat says absolutely all at once. Mike says California. Yeah, do a trial run. See how it works for 3 months to start, says Lord Rhodius. All right, let's see what's going on with Tiberius says Chicago. Okay, let's find out the answer to that question. The answer was, how many murders occurred in D.C. during Trump's first week? 0 for the first time ever. The first time ever. Well done. Trump's law and order delivered immediately. And now we got to jump into our next topic because I know you guys care about it. What's going on with the Epstein case? Some people have kind of walked away from it, but it's an ongoing story that we need to keep track of. First, our trivia question. What does Ghislaine Maxwell believe happened to Jeffrey Epstein? A, alien abduction, obviously. B, he was murdered. C, witness protection program. Or D, still alive in Paraguay. We're going to find out what happened. We'll find out the answer after this segment. Leave your answer in the chat comment or in the poll. The woman who knows where all the bodies are buried just broke her silence in an unprecedented move. Trump's Department of Justice released the full audio and transcript of Ghislaine Maxwell's explosive interview with the Deputy AG Todd Blanche. What she revealed destroys the official narrative and raises questions that go straight to the heart of the global elite. She's calling out the story of the official story of what happened in that prison cell. She's denying the existence of any client list, and she's exposing decades of government cover-ups. Now, for years, they kept her locked away without ever asking her a single question, and now we know why. The most dangerous woman in America just went on the record, and her words are shaking the foundations of power. Wait till you hear this. And while Maxwell drops truth bombs about the elite's darkest secrets, let me share something that'll help you prepare for what is coming. If the power went out tonight, if stores were empty tomorrow, would you be ready? Well, most people aren't, and that's why I recommend My Patriot Supply. Right now, you can save $100 on a 3-month emergency food kit, over 2,000 calories daily for 90 days. Real meals, not freeze-dried mush. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, drinks, snacks, all packed in sturdy buckets lasting 25 years. Made in the USA, no MSG, no junk, fast, free shipping, 30-day returns, disaster replacement guarantee. When disaster strikes, your family eats 3 delicious meals daily because you prepared. Be the hero. Go to preparewithgary.com right now. But first, we go back to the Maxwell revelations. So this is all big breaking news. Been tracking this story for weeks and weeks and weeks, if not years. Ghislaine Maxwell's conversation with the DOJ raises more questions than it answers. Here is what she told the DOJ. Maxwell says she never saw Trump in any inappropriate setting. She insists that Trump never acted inappropriately or received massages. Maxwell states that Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were not close friends. She claims that Epstein didn't Epstein himself. She says there was no client list. Epstein did not work for any intelligence agency. Sure. There was no blackmail involved. Hard to believe that. Bill Clinton never visited Epstein Island, according to her, but of course the flight logs all tell a different story. Epstein's obsession reportedly began in 2001 after meeting a mystery woman whose name was redacted. Maxwell somewhat confirms that her father had intelligence ties. In the early 1990s, Epstein rented a house from the State Department. Isn't that interesting? Let's check in with this breaking news report.
And he basically thinks, but really the top line here is Maxwell never had any type of client list of Jeffrey Epstein's, did not incriminate any high-power individuals. This coming from a well-placed source who's been briefed on this investigation. We're going through that as well. And then, not to give our viewers too much information, but the Justice Department today actually handed over a bunch of Epstein-related documents to the House Oversight Committee as part of its investigation. And we know that James Comer just put out a statement, and he basically said that DOJ put out its first production of Epstein documents related to the subpoena. But that's going to take a long time before they put that out to the public, because they have to get rid of any type of incriminating information, not incriminating information, any identifying information, I should say, of potential victims, Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell victims. Martha.
Yeah, this is very interesting, David. Thank you very much. And we'll let you continue to pour through these. We're looking through these documents as we speak as well. At the very top, Todd Blanche informs her that she has immunity. However, if she lies at any time during these interviews, that she would indeed be prosecuted for that. So she's not immune from prosecution if she didn't tell the truth in these interviews. She talks a lot about her father and her upbringing and how she met Jeffrey Epstein in the early stages of this. But some of the news items that are jumping out, as David just said, that she claims that there is no client list. So, you can parse those words and see how much she reveals later on in this about all of that. She also...
Well, I think it's really just, parsing words. Client list, define that. I mean, even in her own trial, there was an evidence marker that declared that there was a black book. There were binders full of names. That's part of the evidence. So, you could call it what you want. They won't. Maybe they won't call. Maybe she didn't refer to it as a client list, right? Maybe they had another term for it, so you could dance around that. But we've already reported on the evidence name. Go back, check it out. We have it on the channel.
Further on in this document, I haven't seen this part yet, but it's being reported that she says that Epstein she believes he did not die by suicide, despite the fact that every investigation that we've seen says that indeed he did. She was also asked at one point whether or not she ever saw any massage given to the current president, Trump, of the United States. And she says that she never saw that, she never saw that happen, I should say. And as I say, we're still going through the document and haven't reached that specific part of it yet. But this is what's coming in. Let's bring in Jim Trusty, former...
Okay, so that's what we know right now. And 50 minutes ago, this was just posted. The Clinton Global Initiative, started by Epstein and Maxwell, confirmed through Maxwell's own DOJ interview. The Clinton Global Initiative started by Epstein and Maxwell. And Bill Clinton never went to the island. Unbelievable. Quote, I was part of the beginning process of the Clinton Global Initiative, and that was something that I helped with, and that was me and Epstein may have helped me with them. Maxwell confirms Epstein and her fund and start the Clinton Global Initiative. Mike Benz breaking it down.
Now, we know that this lines up with the exact start of the Clinton Foundation. In 2002 was exactly when Jeffrey Epstein was flying President Clinton around personally as kind of aerial chauffeur around Africa. I think they went to 5 different countries in Africa together publicly. And this was actually part of the process that I think brought Jeffrey Epstein a little bit too close to the sun, was when he was personally flying President Clinton around while President Clinton was setting up the Clinton Foundation. And we know that what the Clinton Foundation was doing was essentially pay to play while Hillary Clinton was making her rise in New York Senate politics and then into the Secretary of State, and while they had all this clout and connections and pull within the Democrat Party, that they could essentially sell U.S. foreign policy to foreign donors and to big corporations so that they could essentially, instead of doing things in the national interest, have the State Department, the Defense Department, the CIA, USAID, essentially twist the governance and policies of foreign countries using the battering ram of the American diplomacy and war and trade machine in order to profit the people who personally paid the Clintons for those favors. And so this is totally in line with what I think is the most persuasive theory of the case on Epstein, which is that he was a money bundler. He helped in the structuring of these complex faux philanthropic influence machines. He was a deal maker, and it looks like he was part of the deal making that went into the origins of the Clinton Foundation, which we're now learning as well. Wow. The Justice Department shut down the FBI investigation into 3 different FBI investigations into the Clinton Foundation were shut down, and the IRS investigation was shut down, we're told now, because the IRS claimed they did not have enough resources to investigate the Clinton Foundation. Evidently, the fraud there was so massive, the IRS's defense to get out of political cronyism is that I guess the fraud was too big to jail. They simply couldn't take it on.
Too big to jail. That's a new one. It is official. Bo Loudon, 60 minutes ago. Bo Loudon is a friend of Donald Trump's son. It's official. Ghislaine Maxwell's audio tapes of her DOJ interview are here. She's fully exonerated President Trump. Listen.
I was with him. He was a gentleman in all respects. I don't recall ever seeing him in his house, for instance. I actually never saw the president in any type of massage setting. I never witnessed the president in any inappropriate setting in any way. The president was never inappropriate with anybody. In the times that I was with him, he was a gentleman in all respects.
Wow. I'm sure that there are people over there in the on the left that are freaking out right now. Diligent denizen cover up at exactly 58 seconds into this clip. Deputy AG Todd Blanche blatantly leads Ghislaine Maxwell away from saying Epstein recruited underage masseuses. He writes, your tax dollars are paying to cover up the most heinous crimes against children imaginable. Leading the witness?
He would say, find me a new masseuse. I am the entire opposite. If I find someone that I like, I stay with them. I'm like, I don't want you. He would drive for new. So that is true. And in my effort to find them, I would go to massage spas, like legitimate spas. We're not talking, funky ones that I have. So, if I got a massage from somebody in a spa that I liked. I asked them if they would do home visits. If they said yes, I would ask them to come to the house, and he would see if he liked them or not. But these were people who worked in spas. I never ever checked their age, and I never checked their credentials. So I never asked for a certificate.
What? But just to be clear, you never thought anybody was underage.
I never crossed. Okay. I never. No, that was never my. That was never a drive.
What? As a part of, and others to try to find more and more masseuses. What is that? Is that true?
Wow. Never checked their driver's licenses, apparently. Here is the full justice.gov. This is it. This is all the U.S. Department of Justice. Maxwell interview. The transcripts, day 1, transcript redacted, all the audio recordings. Yeah, we're going to have to pull these down. And maybe, I guess we have, if the transcripts are already there, we don't need to pull the transcripts, but we could probably do a deep analysis of all these recordings, compare them to the transcripts, make sure they line up. And maybe we could post that to X later, give you some more information. But, okay, Todd is already working on that. Amazing. Todd, are those transcripts, will they save you the time with respect to having to pull all the videos? I mean, I guess if you pull all the videos, you could run them through the transcription service. Okay. So they seem pretty detailed then? Okay. Okay, so more from this insider paper. Ghislaine Maxwell says she never saw Trump in any inappropriate setting. We just heard her say it with her own words. Another one, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, posting this. Maxwell says Trump never inappropriate with anyone. Was a perfect gentleman in all respects. And she adds this, that I'll say it again, the Democrats, oh, come on. The Democrats tried to put President Trump in jail for the rest of his life, destroy his business, and take his wealth. and multiple assassins tried to kill him. If there had ever been any evidence against Donald Trump in any of the Epstein case files, the Democrats would have used it against him long ago. President Trump also making that statement repeatedly. Trump's DOJ releasing all the transcripts. We are going through all of that now. Jason Rank posting this 5 hours ago, giving a summary of the day one transcripts. Maxwell states she met Jeffrey Epstein in 91 through a girlfriend and was initially just friends with him. She describes their romantic and relationship as brief, with them sleeping together once in 92 and then not again for a long time. She believed if you slept with someone you were dating, but that wasn't how the relationship was defined. She says their relationship officially ended in 99. She continued to share a bed with him at times, but as friends with benefits, if you will. Maxwell claims her relationship with Epstein was defined by her role as his general manager, overseeing his properties and staff. She was paid for this work, starting at approximately $25,000 a year, eventually increasing to $250,000 a year. She states her family lost all of their business after her father's death, had no money or trust fund of her own, making Epstein her lifeline. She says she was very different financially. He was very different financially from her, and that he paid for her flights. Epstein's business and wealth. Maxwell explains that Epstein told her he started his wealth by helping clients recover stolen money from which he would take a percentage as a fee. She gives a hypothetical example involving a drug cartel. She names several prominent individuals she believes were Epstein's clients, including Les Wexner, Leon Black, Elizabeth Johnson of Johnson & Johnson, and Glenn Dubin. She says he performed the same services for these clients as he did for Wexner, which included structuring business, managing personal finances, and handling investment strategy. She claims Epstein's business included even minute details, such as drafting contracts for his clients' maids. She denies that Epstein's wealth was based on fraud or blackmail, stating that she never saw it. She also says she never heard him blackmail a client or acquaintance. The Black Book and blackmail allegations. Maxwell denies the existence of a genuine Black Book or a client list. She claims the public narrative originated from a disgraced law firm lawyer, Brad Edwards, who allegedly created a fake list in 2009 for financial gain and to assist in civil suits against Epstein. She asserts that this fabricated list was used to attempt to blackmail her boyfriend at the time, Ted Wyatt, for $10 million. She claims a book of names, Exhibit 52, from her trial, that's what I was talking about, which was marked by Alfredo Rodriguez, was used to target individuals. She saw Alan Dershowitz's name on it, but doesn't recall seeing Donald Trump's. Maxwell states that she decorated many of Epstein's homes, including his New York brownstone, the island, his Palm Beach and New Mexico residence, and his Paris apartment. She unequivocally denies ever having seen or wired a single house with any inappropriate video surveillance. The only exception she notes is in Palm Beach, where the police installed cameras to catch a butler, John Alisi, who was stealing money from Epstein's briefcase. She denies seeing Epstein or anyone take compromising pictures of anyone. She also denies hearing anyone accuse Epstein of blackmail. Prominent individuals and massage allegations. Maxwell says that she was tasked with finding masseuses for Epstein as part of her duties as his general manager. She claims Epstein got bored and was insistent on having new masseuses constantly. She would find them at legitimate spas and ask if they made home visits. She never checked their age or credentials, but assumed they were over 18. She believes that male masseuses were common in the 90s, but toward the late 90s, she only remembers women giving massages to Epstein. She believes his behavior and desires changed in the 90s when he started taking testosterone, which she claims made him more aggressive. She claims she did not witness abuse of masseuses and that based on her observations, they seemed happy and would return for more, which she found inconsistent with being raped. She names several individuals she remembers who were in Epstein's life, including Donald Trump. Meeting them through her father in the 90s, she found him cordial gentleman, believes she only saw him in social settings, never at Epstein's house, nor did she ever see him get a massage or do anything inappropriate, stating she does not remember asking him to contribute to Epstein's 50th birthday book or him submitting anything. Bill Clinton, she says, was her friend, not Epstein. She claims to have flown with him on Epstein's plane for a dinner where she met her ex-boyfriend, Ted Wyatt. She doesn't believe Clinton ever received a massage because she was on the plane during their travels together and saw no massages given. Prince Andrew, Maxwell flatly denies introducing him to Epstein. She claims that they were introduced through Lynn Forrester and Sarah Ferguson, and their friendship grew when she organized one of Andrew's visits to New York. While this is detailed, Virginia Giuffre, referred to as DOJ redaction in transcript, Maxwell calls her story absolute rubbish and claims the allegations of having sex with Prince Andrew and her London home are mind-blowingly not conceivable due to the small size of the house. She also asserts that the famous photograph of Giuffre, Andrew, and herself is a fake photo and that Giuffre manufactured the story for financial gain. Maxwell says that the first person she believes introduced Epstein to a more aggressive, sexually charged environment with underage individuals was DOJ redaction, a redacted name, but likely a person associated with Epstein activities. It happened in December of 2001. She claims this individual was a self-confessed victim of that, was trained by a pimp, and that all subsequent accusers came through her and her boyfriend, Tony Figueroa. Miscellaneous details. She believes Epstein did not Epstein himself, but was instead murdered in prison, though she has no direct knowledge of who would have done it. She speculates that if it were murder, it would be an internal situation from within the prison rather than an outside party trying to silence him. She mentions her work with the Terra-Mar Project, a foundation she started in 2010 to focus on the part of the ocean outside national borders. After she and her then boyfriend Ted Wyatt broke up, she shut it down when Epstein's legal issues began to affect her. She named several prominent individuals she knew, including JFK Jr., whom she fancied, and went on one or two dinners with, and Alan Dershowitz, whom she met at Martha's Vineyard and remember seeing at the island. She denies ever seeing Dershowitz do anything inappropriate. Maxwell also names Ehud Barak as an individual Epstein had a relationship with in the later 2000s, also recalling traveling with Epstein, Senator George Mitchell, and his wife to Italy, where they visited the Vatican. She believes the press has been very contaminating and that it's sometimes hard to separate what she has read from her memory. Summary provided by Google Gemini. Thank you, Jason Rink, for that. Let's see here. This is Tommy Vieter. Looks like he's talking with AJ. As people digest the Ghislaine Maxwell transcript, please note that even AJ said she's in prison for decades, so you can't trust somebody to testify who is convicted in prison, from a recent interview with Tim J. Dillon.
Can't trust somebody. You know, here's the issue with that. She's in prison for human trafficking, and you've got these lawyers connected to Epstein saying months ago, Alan Dershowitz, Trump better pardon her. And even before Elon came out and said, hey, Trump's on the list, you're never going to see it, which then has a lot more credibility now because of this. It doesn't mean Trump did anything wrong, but he's implicated. He's embarrassed by it. The issue with Ghislaine Maxwell is she's in prison for decades. So you can't trust somebody to testify who has already not implicated other people, but now that she's convicted in prison, maybe she'll say that I was involved. But I'm being sarcastic. But right. My point is that pressure mounts for Ghislaine Maxwell to be released to testify before Congress. I am of the thought that full disclosure is the way to go.
Yeah.
Okay, we got some more to get to. I think we got a recording here. Red Wave Press. Ghislaine Maxwell told Deputy AG Blanche in their 2-day interview there is no client list. DOJ releasing transcripts. Let's hear.
That you reached out to me and said that you wanted to speak with somebody from the government about not only your case, but about everything that's been in the media and that's been publicized about Mr. Epstein in your case.
That is true, and I did speak to him, and I did ask him did tell him that I was very keen to talk to anyone, because no one from the government at any time ever since the inception of the case, so dating back to the early 2000s, has ever spoken to me and indeed, I believe ever reached out to me at any time to even speak to me. And that includes up to when I was indicted and prosecuted. I believe that, or I understand, I should say rather, that my attorneys at the time did tell the government that I wanted to speak to them because I was very keen to meet with anyone so that I could tell or have them ask me any question. I've never had any problem just to speak to anybody, and I offered myself, and I kept asking if they would meet with me so that I could talk to them, and for whatever reason, that was not happening.
Okay.
Okay, that's just one snippet of hours and hours of testimony that everybody is still going through. So this story is far from over, but now you've heard her side of the questions. Do you trust her? I mean, Jason Rink's breakdown is pretty clear, but the question is, like AJ raises, she's in prison. She'll say whatever she needs to say. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So this interview does blow apart everything that they told us about Epstein's death. Maxwell, his closest associate, says point blank that she doesn't believe that he Epsteined himself. She claims there is no client list, no blackmail material, contradicting what whistleblowers have said for years. And the most damning of all, she reveals that in over 2 decades, from the 2000s until now, not one government official ever interviewed her. Think about that. The FBI, DOJ, CIA, they all ignored the one person who knew everything. Why? Because they didn't want answers. They wanted silence. Now Trump's DOJ is forcing the transparency, releasing the actual audio for Americans to hear and judge for themselves. The establishment is terrified because their protection racket just collapsed. So here's my question for you. Do you believe that Epstein himself? Drop a yes or no in the comments. And if you want the truth to keep on flowing, you can support us by grabbing some Next News gear. It's linked down below. It's shop.nextnewsnetwork.com, where you can trigger a liberal today. I think I need new glasses. All right. Where are we at now? We're at $28.99. I guess no tips for Gary today. Not like I got mouths to feed or anything. Or crew to pay. Or lights to keep on. Right? No. Oh. Yeah. Todd. The first clip you put in here from California. I don't know if we could play that. I don't know. I saw it too, and I kind of went past it. I mean, his pants are up, so... I mean, his pants are up. He's not exposing himself, so I think we could probably play it. Yeah, I think it's bizarre, but I think we could probably play it. But now that I look at it closer, his pants are not down. So I think that's what makes this safe for social media. Okay, let's take a look at our answer here to our question. What does Ghislaine Maxwell believe happened to Jeffrey Epstein? You guys said B. He was murdered. She stated clearly, I do not believe that he died by contradicting the official story. Oh, are you serious, guys? Whose side are you on? Whose side are you on? Okay, I did that for $11. All right. What other more ridiculous things do you want to see me do? All right, remember, I'm not a stripper here, okay? All right, let's go to our next topic of the evening. We're going to talk about Newsom's California power grab and the decay of that state and some other wild things happening. First, a trivia question. What did Newsom promise to do to MAGA Republicans according to his quote? A, buy them tacos. B, punch them in the mouth. C, send them flowers. Or D, give them hugs. You guys can weigh in the chat, comment, or the poll, and we'll get the answer. I'll tell you right now, the answer is in this segment, so pay attention. While his state burns and families lose everything, California's governor just pulled off the most brazen power grab in modern history. He's not helping fire victims rebuild. He's actually blocking them. He's not fixing the disaster that is Los Angeles. He's rigging elections. What Gavin Newsom just signed into law will guarantee Democrat control of Congress for decades, and he's not even trying to hide it. He's actually now openly threatening violence against conservatives, promising to punch MAGA Republicans in the mouth. Meanwhile, red state governors are showing what real leadership looks like, flying into California to protect their citizens from blue state chaos. The contrast could not be clearer, and what happens next will determine the future of free elections in America. So keep on watching. So Newsom's rigging democracy while disaster victims can't even rebuild their homes. Speaking of building protection, what would you do if the stores were empty tomorrow? Would you be ready? That's why I trust My Patriot Supply. Right now, save $100 on their 3-month emergency food kit. Over 2,000 calories daily for 90 days. Real meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, drinks, snacks, not freeze-dried mush. Everything's packed in sturdy buckets, last 25 years, made right here in the good old US of A. No MSG, no junk, just food that you can count on. And they've got fast and free shipping, 30-day returns, even disaster replacement guarantee. Who else does that? America needs heroes. When things fall apart, your family eats 3 delicious meals daily because you prepared. Don't wait. Visit preparewithgary.com right now. Get prepared, get peace of mind. And now back to Newsom's corruption. So here is the state of Gavin Newsom's California. A man with his pants on, showering his backside with a fire hose, at a fire hydrant. I'm not sure, is this how they take showers in California? At least in, that's what it appears. Absolutely bizarre. I don't know who's taking this video, but I think you've seen enough. Before we get to California, let's go to Florida, where Governor Ron DeSantis has announced that deportations will continue at Alligator Alcatraz after an activist judge ordered they start shutting the facility down.
This was pre-detainee processing center down in South Florida at Alligator Alcatraz. I just wanted to say this was not something that was unexpected. This is a judge that was not going to give us a fair shake. This was preordained. Very much an activist judge that is trying to do policy from the bench. This is not going to deter us. We're going to continue working on the deportations, advancing that mission. We knew that this would be something that would likely happen, and we will respond accordingly. That have already been ordered to be removed by the current system, and yet the previous administration didn't want to do anything about it. We're now in this position where we're leading the state efforts to help the Trump administration actually enforce the law and actually remove these illegal aliens from not just Florida, but from our country. And that's something that we didn't have for 4 years. And now that's something that we're absolutely on board with making sure happens going forward. And so we're not going to be deterred. We're totally in the right on this. But I would also note, because of the success of Alligator Alcatraz, there's demand for more. So I did announce that we are going to be opening another facility right outside of Jacksonville in Baker County, and we've called that the Deportation Depot. And so that is something that will be able to hold another 2,000. There's an airport close by, and so you have the processing and then the removal, detainee processing.
Deportation Depot. Did you hear about this? We reported on it briefly yesterday about President Trump painting the border wall black. The President of the United States in the Oval Office giving us some more background on that.
Plank and everything. I want to thank Christy for another reason. I said to her 2 weeks ago, I said, Christy, do me a favor. I built hundreds of miles of wall. I built the same wall that the Border Patrol asked me to build. It wasn't my first choice. I wanted to do concrete plank and everything nice, but you wouldn't have been able to see through it. So I had Border Patrol in, and they tested everything else. And we gave them steel wall, high-grade steel, very hard to cut. Then we gave inside that is 9,000-pound concrete, which is a very tough concrete. Inside that is rebar, a big, fat piece of rebar. So you have all different materials that are very hard to cut, and you need different instruments to cut each one. And I said, Christy, we got to get a coat of paint on it. And I didn't know she was listening, but I said, we got to get a coat of paint, and it should be black, because black makes the steel very hot. It's untouchable. You could fry an egg on it. And if you got a good black, flat paint, it would look beautiful. It will preserve it from rust. And that was it. And I gave it to her along with 30 other things, and she's done such a good job on the border with Tom Homan and the group. Tom Homan's a fantastic guy, what the job he does and the way they work together. So I turned on last night and I see Christie's painting the wall. And it looked beautiful, by the way, when that paint went over there.
And it's hot.
It's hot.
Yes, it is.
It's hot. If it's white, it's not hot. If it's black, it's going to be very hard to climb that sucker. It's not going to be easy. But it's black and a high quality black. You know, it really looked good.
Yeah, we got
Is
the
that going to
paint
be a
you told us
two-coat
to.
job or a one-coat?
No, just one coat.
One coat.
We used the paint you told me to buy.
Yep. The two-coat will take place in 3 years from now. Right? We'll do the second coat. But it looks beautiful. But thank you very much. I didn't know you were listening to that, because we talked about 7 different subjects. And all of a sudden I see her out there painting with a lot of painters and everything else. But it was a beautiful thing to say. Yeah. I want to thank...
Now, where is Gavin Newsom? Check this out. Here is a billboard in California congratulating Newsom. Highest gas prices in America. In California. Congratulations. I want to get to that clip. Where is the clip? I know we have it here. Where is the clip of Gavin Newsom? I know we have it. Anyway, let's while we get that for you, Gavin Newsom signs legislation to gerrymander California for 5+ Democrat seats before 2026 midterm, now requiring a special election.
Let me do a quick photo.
Yeah.
Get the maps. Get that done. And we'll establish the formality with the special election proclamation, which will establish November 4th, this formal special. And we'll be transitioning just nearby, and we'll have a chance to take all your questions.
Here's the clip of him talking. Gavin Newsom calling for violence against Republicans.
Different path. I'm sorry. I know some people's sensibilities. I respect and appreciate that. But right now, with all due respect, we're walking down a damn different path. We're fighting fire with fire, and we're going to punch these sons of bitches in the mouth. I'm sorry. I know some people's sensibilities.
Wow. That's the state of the Democrat Party. Tom Homan, though, he is pissed, announcing a massive flood of ICE raids in every sanctuary city.
To the soul when you walk. I visited the officer last night. Of course, he was heavily sedated, so I didn't have words with him, but I did talk to his family. They're devastated. It's just a shock to the soul when you walk in there and see that young man laying there. Secretary said it, Rodney said it, sanctuary cities are sanctuaries for criminals. Hard stop. I've been doing this since 1984. I've never seen a situation where I see it today. New York City, how many times do you want to see NYPD attacked by illegal alien criminals in the city? Now a federal officer. How many citizens in this city have been attacked by illegal aliens in this city? You see the polls. Everybody agrees we should be arresting public safety threat illegal aliens, but you got a city council here that locked us out of Rikers Island. Are you kidding me? So an illegal alien in Rikers Island we can't talk to, we don't have access to. That makes the city unsafe. Every sanctuary city is unsafe. I'll say it again, sanctuary cities are sanctuaries for criminals. And I'm going to work very hard with Secretary Noem to keep President Trump's promise and his commitment several weeks ago that sanctuary cities are now our priority. We're going to flood the zone. You don't want to let us into jail to arrest a bad guy in the safety and security of a jail. You want to release him into the street, which makes it unsafe for the community, makes it unsafe for the officer, makes it unsafe for the alien. Anything can happen on a street arrest. So what we're going to do, we'll have more agents in New York City to look for that bad guy. So sanctuary cities get exactly what they don't want, more agents in the community and more agents in the work site. If we can't arrest a bad guy in the safety and security of the county jail, then we'll arrest him in the community, and we'll arrest him in the jail. And when we arrest him in the community, if he's with others that are in the country illegally, they're coming too. Sanctuary cities are sanctuaries for criminals. President Trump is not going to tolerate it. And I'll work every day with Secretary Noem to make sure we get as many bad guys, illegal aliens out of this country that we can. And I want to say one more thing. I'm sick and tired of reading in the media every day how ICE is not doing what the Trump administration has promised, that we're not arresting criminals, that most of the people we arrest are not criminals. I look at the numbers every day. The numbers I looked at the other day, 130,000 arrests and 90,000 criminals. Do the math, that's 70%. And who are the others? Others are those who have final orders, who had due process at great taxpayer expense. A federal judge ordered them removed, so ICE's job is to remove them. Who are the rest of the people? National security threats. Under Secretary Noem's leadership, they've arrested several hundred Iranian nationals. National security threats. They may not have a criminal conviction, but they need to be detained. They need to be arrested and taken off the streets of this country. Then I read another story about how most people in ICE detention aren't criminals. Now the story is, how bad of a criminal they have to be. I saw a story the other day. Only 1% of the illegal aliens removed were murderers. Are you kidding me? Being in the country illegally is not illegal anymore? You got to commit a murder to be deported? If you look at ICE detention, I'll say it again. Look at detention. Who's in detention? I look at the numbers this morning. A majority are criminals, have criminal history. Who are the rest? Final order cases, who are judge ordered removed. The others are expedited removal. By federal statute, demands they be detained. So with the media out there, let's try telling the truth about the men and women of ICE and the men and women of the Border Patrol. I wore that uniform. I was an ICE agent. These are the finest men and women in this country that put their lives.
We have some more here. This is 8 hours ago. A visibly irritated Gavin Newsom begins to stammer and sway from side to side when he can't answer a simple question about Speaker Robert Rivera's and Majority Leader Mike McGuire drawing themselves congressional seats amongst Newsom's redistricting scheme.
Answer questions from who are responsible for these maps. It's ultimately Assembly Speaker Robert Rivas and Senate Pro Tem Mike McGuire. They are not here to answer our questions about ultimately these maps. I know, I'd love to. This is the second time they haven't shown up when a ballot measure is placed on the ballot by the legislature to answer questions from reporters. My question is, if those two end up running for Congress after this, Ashley, how could that impact this campaign? How could that impact this campaign? I mean, considering voters did not want politicians drawing lines for themselves.
You have to ask them. You have to ask them.
You have to ask them. And of course, who can remember this moment? Gavin Newsom would appreciate it if you didn't retweet this video of him apologizing for getting caught sleeping with his campaign manager's wife.
Deeply sorry. Thank you all for coming here on short notice. Want to make it clear that everything you've heard and read is true. And I am deeply sorry about that. I've hurt someone I care deeply about, Alex Turk, his friends and family. And that is something that I have to live with and something that I am deeply sorry for. I am also sorry that I've let the people of San Francisco down. They expect a lot of their mayor, and my personal lapse of judgment aside, I am committed to restoring their trust and confidence.
Yeah, man. Mr. French Laundry. Let's get some reaction on that punch MAGA in the mouth statement.
Can you believe California Governor Gavin Newsom said he wants to punch MAGA in the face? Can you believe that? Newsom is angry because Texas gave Republicans 5 more House seats. Now, Newsom wants to change California's map to put more 5 seats for Democrats. But here's the problem. Newsom said this and it was fine. There is no media trial, no trolling. Imagine Donald Trump said something like that for someone or a group of people. The entire media would break down and people will troll him and people will try to impeach him. This is the double standard. Democrats always does this, push violence, and no one says anything. If you want to know more, read this article and you will know more. Thanks.
Gavin Newsom attacking Donald Trump on X. That's hilarious. The memes write themselves. And, of course, so does this. All right, if you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. This is how tyranny works in real time. Newsom just gerrymandered 5 more Democrat congressional districts while Los Angeles burns and families can't rebuild. California already has a 43-9 Democrat advantage in Congress. Now he wants a 48-4. He's literally stealing representation from half the state while threatening to punch conservatives in the mouth. Trump called him out perfectly. Newsom's an incompetent guy with a good line of BS. While Florida's lieutenant governor flies to California to protect Floridians from blue state failures, Newsom plays political games with people's lives. He won't let fire victims rebuild, but has time to rig elections. This is what one-party rule looks like. Corruption, incompetence, and contempt for citizens. So here's my question. Should the federal government intervene when states basically gerrymander districts? Yes or no? Let me hear it. Let's have a conversation about it. And grab your American Badass gear from our shop to show the world where you stand. All right. Let's see. We got Arresto Biden, who has just given a membership to Matt Schaefer. What's up? Welcome to the family, Matt. Thank you, Arresto Biden. And Free Speech for Life dropping $5. Who in America actually takes Bolton seriously in 2025? This guy is clearly anti-American. Exactly. Okay, let's get to our trivia answer. It was, in fact, B. You got it correct. Punch them in the mouth. Newsom literally said, we're going to punch these sons of bitches in the mouth about MAGA Republicans. So what a Friday in American history, folks. We just watched the Deep State's House of Cards come crashing down in real time, and you had a front row seat to every explosive moment. John Bolton, the warmonger, who cheered when they raided Mar-a-Lago, got his karma served cold with FBI agents hauling evidence out of his house. The same man who bragged about planning coups in other countries finally learning that justice doesn't play favorites. No one is above the law, especially not the swamp creatures who thought they were untouchable. The Russiagate files have blown the lid off Obama's coup attempt. Devin Nunes confirmed Obama ordered the Mar-a-Lago raid to grab his fake intelligence report. Brennan's reportedly hiding out in Ireland after getting called out by Roger Stone for hiding out in Austria. Kash Patel exposed the whole raid as illegal. General Flynn is back in the game, advising the defense secretary. The truth is out. They tried to overthrow a duly elected president and almost got away with it. President Trump's law and order surge is transforming America's cities. D.C. went a full week without a murder for the first time in anyone's memory. 719 arrests, 91 guns seized, and now the National Guard is heading to Chicago. The president, who promised to restore safety to our streets, is delivering big time. Gang leaders are running scared, while law-abiding citizens can finally breathe again. Ghislaine Maxwell just destroyed the official narrative about Epstein, doesn't believe that he Epsteined himself. She says there is no client list, and she revealed that no government official interviewed her for over 2 decades. Trump's DOJ is forcing transparency where others demanded silence. The protection racket for the elite is crumbling. And in California, Newsom's rigging elections while blocking fire victims from rebuilding. 5 more gerrymandered Democrat seats while threatening to punch MAGA Republicans. Trump nailed it. He's an incompetent guy with a good line of BS. The contrast between red state leadership and blue state corruption has never been clearer. So to everyone who sent in super chats and rumble rants today, thank you for being a part of the show. Your voices, your reactions, your passion for truth. That is what makes the Raw feed different. We don't just report the news, we experience it together. So tell a friend about what you saw today. Share the show with someone who needs to wake up to what is really happening. Hit up our merch shop at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Where is support proudly? Whether it's our Alligator Alcatraz design, President Otto Pen, or the American Badass series, show the world you stand for truth. Shout out to my Collagen man, keeping our water nice and fresh. And thank you for joining the Raw feed. The revolution is happening. Justice is coming. And, of course, we will be back on Monday to bring you every breaking detail. Until then, I'm Gary Franchi reminding you the truth will set us free. Have a wonderful and blessed and relaxed weekend. And we'll see you on the next show.